Oh my god! Oh my god! Wow! Here we are again at is this the Long Run Podcast? Is that what we call it?
I think so.
I don't even know. I'm the host and I don't even know. Okay.
It's the Long Run, right?
Yeah.
Wait, there's no official name change.
I'm sorry.
There might be a colon though.
Right now, our host is out on a phone call and we are enjoying our fine meals.
That's the breakfast special.
But we're not here just to eat, folks. Boom.
No. We're here to talk about our food. Ethan, what are you eating?
I have a fat sandwich.
Oh, what's in there? What's in there?
Mozzarella sticks, French fries, cheesesteak.
You usually go. What's like your ideal fat sandwich?
That.
Really?
That.
I don't know. I would like cheesesteak. I
Enough.
Be overpowered.
This is not what we're here for. This is not.
Ask me what I'm eating.
What are you eating, Jake?
Rice and chicken. Or what Austin's eating.
I'm not eating anything.
He's not eating.
You were.
No.
Oh.
He had ice
What are you
cream.
eating? Fine, sir.
I'm eating my feelings.
We have a guest today, a new podcaster. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Tom.
Yes.
Special guest.
Special guest.
Anything else you'd like to say about you?
I can say that I was a fan of the movie.
He was a
All
fan
right.
of the movie.
What movie was that?
What movie was that?
That movie was Logan.
That's
Oh.
right, Logan, the last Wolverine movie. My goodness.
At least with Hugh
Oh
Jackman
my
in it.
God. Well, yeah, I'm sure. But
In this time.
yeah, basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
in this timeline. All right, folks.
My God.
We just got out of that movie, and I think we're all feeling it, and we're going to be feeling
I
it
feel
for
like
quite a
I
while.
just took 3 exams, but in a good way. Like my brain is fried and my emotions are spread thin, but in the best way. I was not expecting such a heavy movie.
Really?
Really?
Not at all.
Did you see any of the trailers?
Nope.
See, that's why he didn't. No trailers.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's how I like to roll. I don't like to.
Did you think that added to the experience? Not knowing.
It slapped me in the face,
Okay.
and I'm not, and probably in a good way. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I think I might have saw one bit where I knew it was like everything would be very dirty.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Texas, and that's really all I got. That's really all. Everyone was covered in dust.
Yeah, of
everyone was
course.
old. That's really all I knew. I think Xavier had like peach fuzz. And,
Peach fuzz and
and he
stuff.
was in a car.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
So that's all I really knew going in, and I was pleasantly surprised.
So, I mean, I guess we can talk initial feelings. I think we're all feeling the same thing. Did you want to say something? Or?
I really enjoyed the movie. It was heavy, as Austin said, but like I think Ethan and I have said it in previous podcasts. Like we've been waiting kind of for a grittier like superhero movie.
Yes.
Let's say one that didn't pull any punches.
Right.
One that like
The problem you had with Age of Ultron. It was too quippy.
Age of Ultron, and then like that's why we like Batman and Superman more than people usually do, more than most people, because we're like, oh yeah, thank goodness it was not like a lot of quips. You know, they were actually like people were dying.
We're edgy folk.
Yeah.
At heart, we are edgy folk.
But I mean, after getting out of it, I looked Ethan in the eye and I said, you know, is this what we wanted?
It was a heavy movie.
This movie. Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess
Yeah.
to hop right into it. Okay. Well, okay.
This is a full spoiler review.
Yeah,
by the
full
way.
spoiler review. So just turn off now.
I hope you enjoyed.
Hope you enjoyed. Okay, go see it.
Yeah, go see
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
Go see it. Okay, so you guys, I guess we could go. Let's start from the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we open up, right? Wolverine is clearly he's an Uber driver in the
Oh,
future.
yeah.
Well, wait a second. If we're doing full spoilers,
Yeah.
there was something before that.
Oh wait, you're right.
So,
Would you like to talk about it a little
sure.
bit? Yeah.
So instead of having a after credit scene, they decided to, for this movie, have it before the movie
Pre-credit
started.
scene.
So it was before even the 20th century logo started with all the music going, and it was
Wait, that wasn't just a trailer?
it was.
No,
I mean, it was in a sense a trailer.
Kind of.
Like it was a promotion for a movie, but
It was funny.
It was
I thought that was just another trailer.
well, it's related. It's specifically related to this movie because what you see Deadpool walking down the street,
Yeah.
and it seems like a rough neighborhood, and then you hear and see through an alley.
Angel. I knew immediately.
Madame.
You see an older gentleman getting mugged by another gentleman in an alley, and so. He's a superhero. Deadpool's a superhero. He's like, I gotta do something. So he runs into a phone booth.
It's very meta. Yeah,
Yes.
it's very meta.
And it's a very exaggerated scene of him taking off his clothes and his ass coming up to the screen. And
Yeah.
He's got his ass to the glass for like 5 minutes. Yeah.
And you know what's connected to this movie? Because if you look in the top left of the corner, there's a movie theater in the background that says that tonight is playing Logan.
Yeah.
And in the background, while he's still getting changed, you hear "help, help," and then
It just escalates.
Right,
And
It
shot.
escalates, yeah.
he gets shot. This guy, there's no chance of him ever surviving.
No.
And Deadpool comes out ready to go, and it's like, well, shit. And the man who got shot dropped his groceries, so Deadpool then decides to take a nap on the dead guy's body while eating his ice cream.
You know, it's almost a precursor to the tone of this movie. He couldn't save the man. You know, it's very gritty.
It's true.
Yeah, he
True.
dies
Little did we
in
know.
cold
It was
blood.
a shitty city.
Yeah, shitty city.
Mhm.
I liked it a lot. It was very Deadpool. It fit.
Funny,
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Good
Pleasant
times.
I
surprise.
had no idea it was part of the movie.
Yeah. Gotta stay awake for these things, Jake.
I was. I just figured they dimmed the lights early.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, you're right. Yeah.
I forgot about the lights. I can't. Speaking of just the theater itself, I can't remember the last time I saw a movie with so many people in the audience. Usually I go like either late or way down like the season where the movie has been out for a while. It's a whole other sensation to have an entire audience behind you.
Yeah.
It adds to it.
Yeah.
For good or bad.
I thought it was a good audience.
It was fine. Yeah.
When you see it at a college theater, you
Right.
got to be wary, right? For the
Yeah.
people who are going to be like, oh.
Yeah.
Some people
But
are
no,
yelling.
people
The girl
are
next to me
quiet.
did not like the movie.
Really?
No, I
Why?
don't think
What was she saying?
What was the problem?
All right. Well.
When did we lose her?
Get to
I
Right?
can remember I wasn't really paying attention, but if I can place her exact moment where her attention was fading, it was probably
Hugh Jackman's not hot anymore.
Steve Jack is not hot. He looks so
God.
old at the end. Okay, hold on.
I don't know when she lost it, but I do know at the
Was
end.
it the violence?
I think it was the heaviness of the movie
Yeah,
that
yeah.
she was not expecting.
She wasn't ready for it.
No, she's like, as she turned to the guy next to her, she said, "I don't think I like this movie."
No,
I
it
don't
was
know
it
if
was
I like it.
even the ending. It's a happy, but
No.
not really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very, very Last of Us. I remember
Yeah.
Jen was making a comparison to that.
No, it's totally Last of Us. I mean, it's just an older man and young girl. It's very
True.
Last of Us.
But
So
in like some dystopian,
yeah,
like,
dystopian,
future.
shitty.
Yeah.
And
10
these
years from now.
men
Yeah.
with guns are chasing them. Oh, by the way, Adam has returned.
I might have to leave again, but
All right.
Adam, the
Yeah.
actual host of this podcast.
I'm here, guys.
That's right. I'm not usually the one here.
You know,
guys.
now that we brought it up, the host thing, Ethan, you did a really good job.
Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty good.
Ethan was the original host
Oh,
No,
he
it wasn't.
was. No, in the pilot.
for episode
In
0.
the pilot.
I know, episode
yeah.
-1.
-1.
Yeah.
Was it, wait, what movie was that?
That was
That wasn't a
when it was
movie.
the drawings of us. He was the
Yeah.
host.
What, were
Remember
we just talking about shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the original podcast. But back to the topic at hand.
We were talking about like the dystopian future. I
Yes.
was noticing because it's only 2025, I believe.
2029.
29. Oh,
Yes,
29. Okay,
yes.
29 when the thing takes place. And,
Uber is still around.
Uber is still around.
Could've been Lyft.
This is-
Yeah,
this is-
Wolverine works as a limo driver. Like we get these nice little vignettes as he drives around different passengers.
I
It's very
noticed,
funny.
I don't. There were like little things like very strict border control between
Yeah.
Mexico and
Yeah.
the U.S. A lot more than I'm not too familiar, but it seemed a lot more
Very
heavy-handed,
militarized.
very militarized than what we have now. And I just wondered like was it political comment? Is it just
I don't
is
know.
this-
If you
I don't
watch
think
the
so.
movie Sicario, it's the same thing. It's very
Yeah.
militarized. Yeah.
Okay,
When does that take place?
Modern day.
They also
So
mentioned
maybe,
how-
maybe it is like that.
so
who
maybe
knows?
I'm making nothing out of it.
They also mentioned how tigers are extinct now, or
Oh,
something.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
really?
because they said that. Remember, it could either be a tiger or something else, and a
Or
tiger
Freddy
can't.
Krueger.
Or
Yeah,
Freddy
yeah,
Krueger,
one
and
of
one
them's
can't drive.
fictional.
It's fictional. The other one's extinct.
Oh.
And it's like, okay. I like tigers, but okay.
Looks like we lost.
It's a very like possible future, let's
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, it's not far off.
No.
It's just there's mutants. That's all.
But to talk about the, it was a very like colorful world that they painted in that sense. Like they
Really?
I think so. Not in the sense of like it was a pretty world. or
Yeah.
anything, but like in the sense of like it had a lot of depth to it.
You felt like it was dense.
Yeah, like there was shit going on, and the way they
That's true.
characterize it, you just see Logan kind of going
Passing
through.
Yeah,
and
true.
That's
Very
true.
true.
And that was really interesting.
There's a
way of
lot. There's a lot
characterizing it.
behind it in front of this movie.
Yeah, like when
Yeah.
one of the people that he drives through was like a bunch of like I don't know kids going to prom or some shit.
Yeah.
Right,
And they
yeah.
were like USA,
Yeah.
US. They passed by the border, and you're like, okay, that's where we're at here.
I
you
see.
know? It's
I
that
didn't
kind of
even
shit.
notice that. That's a good point.
I will say though, this movie does compare and is based off of the comic Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
And it's
point.
nothing like the dystopia that is
No.
Old Man Logan.
Really?
Logan is far worse.
Yeah,
Far worse.
The United States is not divided up against multiple supervillains under the control of...
Really?
Yeah.
You want to
Much
talk
more
about that?
It's pretty bad.
Much more bleak.
I mean, we can talk about it.
Yeah,
later
you can go
once we
ahead.
get more in, or should I just...
Yeah, drop it
do the
now.
comparison?
We're
Sure.
in the beginning, so
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's do the comparisons now. So the main comparison that I saw between Old Man Logan and this movie was what happened to the X-Men. Throughout the entire movie, it's kind of like the mutants are gone. The only one that's really, or not gone.
You're never really sure in this
Yeah.
movie, I feel.
Yeah.
That you know what happened.
So
Wait. No?
I mean-
don't know.
Yeah, keep going.
So what ends up happening in Old Man Logan is you find out that Sinestro
Yeah.
made Logan or Wolverine.
Sinestro.
Something
That's
like
easy.
No, not Sinestro. Mysterio. I do apologize.
Okay.
Mysterio.
Yeah, he put like a mirage around him, and
Yeah.
he made him think that all his friends were his enemies, and he
Yes.
killed everybody.
And
Oh.
yes,
Yeah.
Wolverine
That's what
himself
happened?
Yes.
was responsible
Oh.
for eliminating the X-Men.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
That's
so
exciting.
he puts himself into exile,
Yes.
more or less. And so for this,
Exile, yeah.
Yeah, I'm making the X symbol with my hands just in
Yeah.
case. For our viewers not watching the
Right,
VOD.
right.
The VOD. Yeah.
so in the movie Logan, Xavier is suffering from some type of degenerative brain disease, which causes seizures.
Yeah.
Except when he experiences these seizures, he paralyzes everyone around him to a point where they
can
can't
die,
breathe
yeah.
and they can eventually die.
Yeah.
It seems like a very destructive version of his usual power, which is just to freeze everybody.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. So
I guess he regulates people while he does it.
Yeah, he lets them breathe. Yeah.
yes. So in this case, during the early onset, when he was first getting these seizures, he ended up killing, or at least presumably killing, the X-Men.
Presumably.
So sad. That reveal, they did it
Yeah.
in a very, it was very sudden.
So that's what happened exactly. I figured it was that. I knew he killed a lot of
Because,
people. I wasn't sure if it was the
he
X-Men
said
specifically.
Westchester, and that's where the
Yeah,
mansion
Oh,
is located.
yeah,
Yes.
that was
Oh.
very subtly dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It was not
very
very at all.
subtle.
I bet there are some people in the audience who completely missed
Who
it.
didn't? Yeah, because I kind of missed it.
Right,
honestly.
right,
I knew
right.
people died. I wasn't sure.
Oh,
that
and
the
that was
X-Men.
and that is the exact scene where Xavier dies.
Yes,
And
actually.
and it's just all these emotions.
That's a very
happen
interesting
at
scene.
once.
Oh god, that was
That's a
like-
very
that was-
interesting
oh my
scene. I wanna
God,
come back
look
to
at
that.
Hold that
All right,
nugget.
I just
Hold
wanna
that
mention
nugget, 'cause we wanna
Okay.
talk
I'll
about
put it in
that.
my pocket.
But yeah, in Old Man Logan, it's a much more bleak world, and it's just very like, I mean, in this one, like, there's a thread of hope going through it.
Yeah.
But like in Old Man Logan, it's just personally, I'm not a fan of Old Man Logan. I read the whole thing, and it's a lot more. It's very much just Logan going from point A to point B, killing every man he sees. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But in this one's a bit more. It doesn't end happy, but it's a happier movie.
Yeah.
I think the first moment where we see what the kind of movie that this is, I feel like, is when we first meet Laura. The scene where the first fight scene in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yes.
I want to touch on that because the fucking
get into that. That was how we knew what
Laura.
was going on.
Okay, Laura in this movie, she's X-23 and she's like, what is she, like 12
She's
maybe?
8.
Like 8, yeah. Like she's very, very young. And like a bunch of men with guns show up at the base because she was with Logan and Xavier.
We don't know what she is.
We don't know what she is yet. And the men walk into the house, and she's just sitting there, and then it cuts away, and you just hear them screaming, and she throws their head back at the
Yeah.
crowd. And you're like, oh. And like you can kind of expect that, like, okay, she can
Alright,
kill
that's cool.
people.
Alright,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but the
But
moment she's like in the thick of it, and like these were pretty good fight scenes. Like I gotta say, like
Yep.
the double that did these, they were great.
Much better.
It was
the
very
girl
good.
Did like a butterfly kick.
She did really well. These were really
Jesus.
fun to watch.
I think one of my favorite parts of that scene was how the antagonist
Yeah.
was treating her like a child, more or less like
Yeah.
a puppy almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he was like, no,
No.
yeah, don't
she-
do that, and then she kills them all.
And she's like, fuck.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They did that to the other Logan too.
But
But
then-
then 24, they treated him like an animal.
Yeah. Same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But they didn't pull any punches because during the fight, Laura gets speared through the chest,
Harpoon.
and you see
With
the
a
whole
gun, with a
thing.
harpoon gun.
This child.
An actual child, and she's just screaming at. What does she do? Does she cut it off or
Yeah.
pull it out?
Yeah,
They
she
try,
cuts it
so,
off.
Yeah.
Because the idea is to pin her down. They
Yeah.
get the harpoon and they start dragging her, and then they try to grab her
Yeah,
limbs.
yeah, yeah.
So she can't really get away.
but she had her toe claw.
And they
Yeah.
revealed a toe claw.
The toe claw, yeah.
Yeah.
The toe claw.
That's really useful, like, you know,
Yeah.
especially for like a young girl.
Yeah.
That's true.
It was that was the moment where I knew I liked this movie.
Right.
Like
Ethan
it was
has a great
insane. It was
It became a lot more visceral than
Yeah.
I'm used to in these types of movies. Like with Deadpool, the violence was there, but of course it's
Yeah.
comical because
Yeah.
because
Because
he,
it's
he
just-
doesn't have
yeah.
the morals, so you kind of have to make it comical
Yeah.
to wash it down better. With Logan, people were getting maimed and it was very real and it was very painful.
a lot of
Yeah.
claws
And
through the face.
We're also not used to this from X-Men movies
Yeah.
and Fox.
A lot of claws
The
through
whole
the
Fox-
head.
yeah. because everything prior has been PG-13.
Exactly.
And it was a wake-up call to what we're going to be getting into, and it's probably how it would go
Yeah.
in execution.
And
That's
I
how
loved
Logan
it.
operates.
It was fantastic.
Great.
Even like a little prior to that, Logan just getting the shit beat out of him by like cartel dudes.
Yeah,
That
was
was
the
also-
opening scene actually.
Like he slices off people's faces.
Like that's how they were like, okay, he put his fingers up to some dude's head and then shook his claws.
Yeah, I know.
It was like, oh gosh.
But during that scene, you could tell that like he's lost a step,
Yeah.
right? Like he's like he walks funny now.
Yeah, that's the
like
thing.
The first time he tried to bring out his claws. in the
exactly,
movie,
yeah.
one of
You
them-
notice one of them's like
Yeah.
kind of fucked up. It doesn't come out quite the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a completely different Logan. Like this is not like a superhero action man.
He's being poisoned by his adamantium, right?
We find,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I believe
He
so.
basically has cancer.
That's what I thought. I was
Yeah.
like, how would cancer work? In,
Because like his
Wolverine?
cancer is just beating his healing factor at this
Yeah.
point.
It's,
So, like
it's a constant
Yeah.
fight since the installation of the
Yeah.
skeleton, I guess.
pretty much.
I guess, and he just it's time.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure we learned in that first scene that he doesn't heal anymore. So that's
Not-
like
not
it's just his
really.
thing.
He does.
Like a little bit, but you can tell it's
It's
just like
delayed, it's
yeah,
there. I guess depending on the grievousness of the wound, it
exactly.
doesn't because it didn't always.
He's got scars. Where
Yeah, he's got
usually
scars.
doesn't.
Yeah. But okay, so if we to go a little bit before the Laura scene, right? Let's talk about the other characters for a second. How about Albino was cool, right? He was
Yeah.
very
What's his
neat.
name? Caliban.
Caliban. He sort of plays off of Wolverine and stuff.
I like the interplay between the three.
Yeah.
It was very.
He's from Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He is
And I didn't know that. I didn't know who he was.
Oh, you want to give us back?
His ability is that he is a mutant tracker,
Uh-huh.
but he's also like a vampire in the sense that sunlight hurts him.
Yeah.
He was a villain in this movie.
Um,
He worked for
they did allude to how he used to work for the company that
Okay.
created X-23.
Yeah.
And then he stopped.
And then he stopped. He switched sides.
He's kind of a Weasley sort of character,
Yeah.
right? Like he's a good guy, but like you can he's easily bullied type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you burn in the sun.
I know.
yes.
I felt
The
bad.
whole world did.
Yeah. I mean, but I think a big part, one of the most interesting characters in the movie is obviously Xavier.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because the first times we see him, like he's just this doddering old man. Like he's
Yeah.
a shadow of his former self.
Yes.
Like they have to keep him locked away in this big,
He was
like,
so
big
distinguished.
shed.
Mhm.
And like they have to make sure that they give him his medicine, otherwise his seizures like could kill him.
Like his brain
It's
is a weapon
insane.
of mass destruction now because he can't control it.
Yeah, he cannot control it at all.
I would call Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier like one of the more iconic roles in superhero movies
Pretty
for
much.
me.
Yeah.
And he really set the tone. I remember he opened the first X-Men movie with a monologue about DNA,
Yeah.
and I remember as a kid being in such awe
Of this
And
man.
To see him now.
I know.
And I've seen Patrick Stewart in other things.
To say
now.
goodbye to him.
Yeah, it was very sad. It was very sad to see him and he did it very well. It's very sad to see him in that Alzheimer's state, especially with a mind so powerful.
It was
When
very
it's
good.
degrading. You don't know when it's gonna go off and pop off and do straight.
Yeah, exactly. It was a great combo for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
Unexpected, honestly.
now I guess to stay on that scene for a second, I just want to bring up the one thing that kind of bothered me about this movie.
All right.
That they who was the bad guy's name again? The guy with the hand.
I don't think we ever got a name.
Did
Oh,
we
no,
really
I think
never-
We did
No,
get
we
a name.
did.
It was on his
No,
card. I
yeah,
don't
he
know.
had hit in the card.
Yeah.
Look, just call him Redhead for now.
Redhead. He's this random muty hater dude. I guess I don't
He
know.
works for the government.
He works
I
for
don't
the
know if you
he
know
works for the
him.
shadowy
Yeah.
government who's trying to make more mutants.
And robot enhancements.
Robot
Some-
enhancements,
some-
I guess.
Some enhancements are around now.
I mean,
Okay.
it is the company that
Yeah.
made Weapon X.
Yeah. So they're trying to make more. And X.
Another visual
Jake
gag for you.
pantomimed an X again
Yeah,
for the
see.
viewers at
For you
home.
viewers watching the VOD.
Clearly. And I mean, so he shows up and he's like, "Oh, you have Laura, give him to me." I don't know why he showed up by himself, but like he shows up
Yeah.
and they beat him up. Like Laura throws a pipe at him and he's just out. He's done.
All right.
Yeah, that was,
And you're like, oh, well, that's kind of funny. Is he dead? Like, and then like Wolverine, who is okay with leaving Laura to die basically and run away with Xavier, is like, oh, just dump him in a ditch like a mile over there.
Okay.
yeah.
It's the weirdest thing.
Why?
Like, because like you would think he would just kill
You
him.
think you just kill him?
He would just kill
So
him.
why not?
That's fair.
Because he just caused more trouble for
That's true,
himself.
because he
The
clearly
thing.
knew he was dangerous. He knew who he was.
Yeah, he knew who he was, and
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
And he
I mean,
put
the men were
danger.
still coming anyway, but like without their leader, it would have been a little bit better, right? Like
You're right.
The character's name is Donald Pierce.
Donald Pierce,
Okay.
Oh, with
Yeah.
the harpoon.
Donnie.
Donnie Pierce, yeah. That's the only thing. I mean, that's happened. I feel like that happened like a few more times in the
Really?
movie, where they would beat up the bad guys and just sort of let them run off, and they come
Alright.
back. It kind of happened with the racist old white dudes, I guess.
Really?
But like that was like
Have to kill-
that was I understand that one, and
Right.
it had to happen because they had to come back and
Yeah.
fight the
That was
spoilers X-24.
The only I guess he could have killed X-24 there. He could have like shinked into his head, right?
Yeah.
He's
So-
made out of animatic.
Real quick question. This movie is extremely new.
Yes.
People don't know all the statistics about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right now, what is your guess to the death count?
Oh god. Oh god.
Oh,
46.
At least 50. Yeah.
Yep.
At least 50. I'm
no,
feeling
I
it.
think it could be a little higher than that.
I know. That's why I said at least 50.
Because
Yeah.
I think there was like also like some collateral
Just
damage off screen.
Maybe.
slice. You mean look at the Xavier stuff when they're at the casino?
Oh,
movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably some
Well,
people
yeah.
died
Yeah,
there.
They said 400 people were
Right,
paralyzed.
yeah, paralyzed and injured and
I'm
stuff.
sure some of them.
There's a lot of old
there were-
people
there
in
were old people on
casinos.
the ground. There were old people on the ground after the casino.
Yeah.
They were either passed out or
Yeah.
dead.
That was a crazy scene.
That was
Casino
really
scene.
intense.
That was intense. That was cool.
Do you wanna
Shall-
hold off on that or do you wanna?
Shall we move on to that scene? Is there anything else?
I think there's a.
What were we talking about?
I guess.
We're currently on the first Laura scene, basically just talking
Oh.
about it.
I got one thing.
Well, I do want to give some. I felt sad for the nurse. I
Oh
didn't-
yes,
yeah.
her
I didn't-
mom,
I didn't
quote
expect
unquote.
her to die. Yeah, it was. We thought. It was
I knew
her
she
mom
was
at the
gonna
time.
die.
I had no idea. I
Be-
thought she'd
but
be like like Wolverine keeps her around. They show her.
No,
with
see,
Logan.
the thing is, I knew she was gonna die because I watched the trailer,
Alright.
and she wasn't in any of the scenes.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, she's gonna die.
Logan was kind of silly to like kind of wait on taking
Yeah.
them. Or he should have taken them with
With
him.
them, yeah, it was like one of those weird sort of things that
He was
happens.
pretty low on humanity in the beginning. He was pretty done with life.
Yeah, he was very like, I don't care.
He keeps
Like,
an
Very
adamantium
out
bullet
here.
to kill himself with.
Mhm.
yeah, that sets the tone.
So
Drinks a lot.
Drinks a lot. Yeah, we see him. Oh, he's a mess.
I think one of the funniest things of the movie. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't a very humorous movie, but one of the funny things was is
Yeah.
he had to get glasses to read.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
it's so
Very
I love-
subtle
I love
thing.
his old man glasses.
he looked
Yeah.
pretty good in them.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
he did.
Gotta
Yeah,
say.
as Xavier said, they made him look younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he liked it. He liked.
It did help.
Oh my gosh, the first scene where he has to administer the dosage to
That was
Xavier
really intense.
because he's chasing Xavier around because Xavier's having like an episode.
Who are you?
And he doesn't know who he is,
Uh-huh.
and it's really like very like, oh, it gets you, like you're just like, oh
Sad.
fuck, it's very sad, and he's grabbing him and he just loses it,
Mhm.
and like we see that like Caliban feels it too, and it's just this intense,
Oh, yeah. He has like a little seizure.
yeah, it's this intense like minefield that just it freezes everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that I don't know if it's whether it's because Wolverine has the adamantium,
Yeah.
or because he's a mutant, or there's
Strong enough to
Something.
move.
both.
Just something,
That
yeah.
he can.
He can somewhat move through it, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
able to give him the dose.
Because Caliban is a mutant and he wasn't able to move.
He's
The
also
only other one who could move was like we saw that was Laura.
X-23.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just seem to be able to,
It might be a strength factor.
something like
Do
that.
they have reduced like pain? They have increased pain tolerance or something?
Who knows? Something like that. Just
Maybe.
Wolverine
They're more
type
used to
things. Yeah.
I don't know.
But so basically, they get away with Laura, right? They escape. They get in the nice car.
Mhm.
Honestly, I love the interplay between all of them. Like I thought it was pretty fun. I like the relationship between Laura and
Xavier.
Xavier.
Mhm.
Even though I felt like sometimes like Logan was a real dick to Xavier and Xavier was kind of a dick to Logan.
Yeah.
They really didn't like each other, honestly, at the beginning of the movie.
One thing
No?
before, or two things actually. One thing before I forget, it was really cool to see like, Xavier curse, being like, "Fuck this" and "fuck
I know,
that."
yeah. When he first comes out of the episode, he's like, "This is fucking bullshit."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
I was like,
See,
whoa.
I have seen. I watched a show with Patrick Stewart in it recently called Blunt Talk, which is all I need to tell you about Blunt Talk is that it's produced by the same people who make Family Guy. So it's just Patrick Stewart doing silly things, and I am a little I'm numb to Patrick Stewart doing
silly things.
like that. But I know in my heart that if I had seen this movie prior to watching that show, it would break my heart, and I would laugh at Patrick Stewart cursing.
It's like, oh, Picard, what are you?
Yeah, Picard. Yeah.
No.
And the only other thing was my one gripe about it is that it seemed like the soldiers were just kind of running into like Laura's claws.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were.
Think? I didn't notice.
Every time they would show it, they were kind of just running towards her, and then she'd like slice them, and then you'd show another like some. other
This is one of those movies where people don't shoot their guns.
They were stormtroopers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except they didn't fire.
I was fine with it because like it happened pretty quickly, but like I could see there were moments where like why don't you just all shoot him right now? But it's like no, we're not gonna shoot.
They gotta
him.
run into him a little bit because don't want to miss.
Yeah. Especially because like in the first scene, like he straight up kills one of them, and they're still just pointing at him.
I guess
it's very weird.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's see. The next big scene after that, I guess, would be the casino. Yeah. I mean that's where we really see the.
They're in Vegas, right?
Yeah, they were in Vegas.
I recognize that little section where we might have been.
It all kind of looks the same.
I mean, casinos tend to look the same. That's probably why.
All right, I thought I was there.
Yeah.
I might have been.
I mean, okay. I might be skipping ahead here, but I want to bring up there was a point in the movie.
We talked about Vegas.
Yeah. The point in the movie where I felt like, oh my god, it was almost gratuitous was when the poor, nice black family gets obliterated by fucking X-20. That was so bad.
You know what that reminded me of?
Yeah.
The whole scene.
The Wolverine origin movie, where he first escapes.
Yeah.
And he's like, has no idea what is happening.
Yeah, he's just fucking,
Yeah, and he's... Well, no, not when he's like an animal. This isn't like the first timeline. Where he escapes, he gets injected with adamantium, he runs away.
Yeah.
The family's like, oh, come in, like, we'll take care of you. And then he wakes up, like, and like, uses his claws and slices through their sink, and then the dad gives him the jacket, was like, this is my son's. And and then they come in with the helicopters and blow the shit out of that family, and he gets on the son's motorcycle.
God damn it!
And it's just like...
You think that was a call? Like, I guess he did say a few times, like, or at the very end, he was like, everybody I care about dies.
Right.
And he just kept trying to leave.
Yeah.
And then Xavier was like, no.
Yeah,
I know. That felt almost stupid in a way.
Right.
Like Xavier, you know that people are coming.
That's true. We can leave in the.
But you're right. He is old and senile, and I think Wolverine kind of wants to stay because like he wants to stop running too.
Of course,
but
he wants to
it was
stay.
nice.
Yeah.
He knew better.
He knew. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it was a very bad mistake.
It did cause their deaths.
They might have died.
Let's talk about it. So in this movie, oh god, okay.
This whole scene.
Before that, let's give some background.
Right.
This X-24, right? Basically, what's going on is that X-23, Laura, she's part of this like little program where they make these kids and they fucking try to turn them into weapons. It is the saddest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because basically they're like, okay, we're gonna make them into soldiers, and they don't want to be soldiers. Okay,
Right.
fuck that. We'll kill all of the kids.
Scrap 'em, yeah.
They're going to scrap the kids.
Yeah.
Like by putting them to sleep, as we see.
Yeah.
They're dragging children into beds and stuff.
I think it kind of was a little reminiscent
Yeah.
of Civil War when they had the cryogenically frozen super
A little bit, yeah.
What were you gonna say, Austin?
I thought you were going to say. It reminded me a lot of the V for Vendetta scenes where they showed that concentration camp in England. Because I know you're a fan.
It's
so
very.
People are dragging.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
Especially what's sad is when we see Laura looking at the photo of her friends.
Right.
It's just the way that photo looks. It's like it looks fucking real. These little white shirts. They have these awkward smiles.
Yeah.
Like it's
What do I
a
do?
real bunch of kids. Like
Uh-huh.
And that's
it's so sad. They were nice
They were
kids.
pretty fun.
one of the things in this movie is that usually you feel kind of like a little bad for like the mooks because they're just people. There's they're caught up in this. Maybe they're security guards or whatever.
But no, these are guys. Yeah.
These are like, but in this instance, you're like, okay, these motherfuckers, they look like big burly dudes. All they do is just act as mercenaries. They're like killing kids.
They're okay with killing kids. Yeah.
And so you're just like,
Fuck
it's
it.
one of those few instances like this is brutal. Maybe they don't have to die, but like fuck them all. I don't care.
No, yeah, this is one of those movies where I feel like you're just angry in a way.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is such bullshit. Like, why are these men trying to get these kids?
Yeah, what's the matter with you?
Like, what's wrong with you people?
And every single one of them was missing a hand.
Oh yeah, that was like their thing.
All of them?
That's why they had.
Really, I didn't even
trouble.
notice
I didn't
that.
notice that all of them had
Every
it.
single guy that was trying to go after.
They all-
Wolverine
I guess they're all
and
Maybe
augmented.
it's the thing.
Every single one of them was missing a
They've
hand.
all
Really?
lost a hand to
So
that
motif.
claw.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like Assassin's Creed, like right in the
I guess
station,
so.
or like
Yeah.
chop a finger.
The right
off,
one
so-
goes off.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
God, I didn't even notice that. Wow.
Yeah.
Some
But-
of the arms were a little more.
Yeah, basically the kids are getting scrapped, and the nurse is like, I don't want this to happen. So they concoct a plan, right, to get all the kids out and go to Eden to this random coordinates. But we find out the
From a
coordinates
comic, yeah.
are from a comic book, and it's not actually real.
Wait, that was a weird thing too.
That was a weird thing too, because when he first did that, for some reason I thought like, oh, the comic book people knew. Whoa, dude, I don't know why I thought that. Because then Wolverine brings up it's bullshit. It's in a comic
Marvel
book,
Studios.
and I was like, oh yeah, that makes-
okay.
of course, yeah,
Wow.
Wolverine, you're right, you're right. It's really funny, but then we find out later that it was technically real. Because like they go to the spot and there's nothing there,
Didn't they
but
make
like
it?
yeah, they made it
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
That's the thing. They made it real. It was like their secret code, basically.
Which is kind of cool.
It was kind of cool, yeah.
I had no idea X-Men comics exist in the X-Men movies.
I don't think they usually do.
They don't usually, but yeah.
yeah,
And
that's the first that I
this was one of the first movies I've seen to actually reference their own
Right.
comic books.
Yeah.
It's kind of
The
neat.
future and stuff has happened.
Yeah.
And they write about it, sensationalize it.
Yeah, Wolverine mentions
Yet
that it's all
still
bullshit.
Persecute these people.
I know. What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, it was we hear bits and pieces of what happened to them. Like they just.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess mainly what happened to them is just that Xavier killed them all by accident. But
The Sentinels become a thing.
the Sentinels. I mean.
Is that the same time?
Because they talked about like I guess modifying the food and stuff so that
Right.
more mutants weren't being born.
Oh,
so
is
then-
that what they were,
yeah.
Wait, what did they talk about? Oh,
Because he mentioned it,
The
and
guy at the end.
yeah, at the end he was talking about how he
Guy in
messed
charge.
around with the food.
Oh yeah, he basically killed off the
Yeah,
mutants.
it went the way of polio. He said.
Oh,
Yeah.
He
vaccinated.
Yeah.
I had trouble understanding some of the people.
I know. Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, I see.
They,
That makes
basically,
sense.
they made it so
Interesting.
they weren't being born anymore, so they
Uh-huh.
tried to make them again because they were like, we want them, but we don't want to. I guess have them be random.
They were trying to weaponize them. though.
Yeah,
They were
pretty
not
much.
necessarily, like,
Yeah,
make
pretty
them born,
much.
They were just trying to control how.
Pretty
they were
much,
born.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
They were.
But yeah, basically they make X-24, who is a version of the children who is just he doesn't really have a soul, as
Yeah,
they say.
He's like a clone of,
Yeah.
of Wolverine.
Yeah, he looks exactly like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
He's like super young.
I was half expecting, Ryan. Yeah.
Deadpool. Oh, I am X-24.
That would kind of be cool, actually.
Yeah.
Really? I'd break it for me.
If this random crossover,
You know, and,
it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work
'cause
here.
I feel like it'd be an attempt at humor where I don't want it.
No,
No,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
the Merc of the Mouth, but like a Deadpool kind of guy.
Oh, I thought. Well, when I say
Hey.
No, I was actually
You think it like
expecting
him?
No, it wouldn't. It would be like the other Deadpool that we saw at one
Yeah.
time. The
Yeah.
one with that little didn't have a
no
mouth.
mouth, yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps I mean just like a different take on it. I
Maybe.
mean, wasn't that what Deadpool was? Was kind of like an answer to Wolverine,
Yeah.
A little bit. You're
but then they
right.
fucked him up. I mean, actually, yeah, the same kind of program. just
Man, I
people
feel like-
weaponizing
Same
mutants.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the same?
No, yeah, he's a Weapon X. He's another, because he also has a healing factor too.
He was
Okay.
Yeah.
weapon 11.
I don't know.
But yeah, basically, Wolverine and Co are at this nice family's
Oh.
house because basically they saved their horses.
Yeah.
They were
there's like a road
driving,
accident.
and there was a traffic accident, and a bunch of these horses get all over the place. But Xavier, like, he manages to calm
In a
them
rare-
down
Yeah.
in his rare moment of clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, they're like, "Oh, why don't you come over and stay with us?" We're like, "Okay." And they have.
Oh, this is
Well,
bad. This is
Wolverine
bad.
said no.
Wolverine said no.
And
Xavier says yes, so they go.
Yeah.
So they go. Basically, Xavier ruined everything, and they say,
He,
but
like he said just before he died, it was the,
The nicest night,
that
yeah.
he's had in memory
and like a very long
in a
time.
very long time. Understandably, if things have been, he has a guilt that he doesn't really understand because of his senility, and he killed,
That's-
all his friends are gone.
Because we found out that he forgot, like he wasn't sure what happened.
Oh,
But then, like when he wakes up in the morning, he remembers. He's like, "I did it."
I can understand why he wants to have a nice dinner
Yeah.
with some nice strangers.
It was very. I like the banter at the dinner.
It
It
was
was very
nice.
funny.
It was
He
very
brought up
nice.
how
Oh yeah.
did the special school thing.
I used to
Oh,
run
that
a
was-
teacher.
I used to run a special
The
needs
special
program.
children.
He was one of my students.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
funny. It was very funny. It was very funny.
It was yeah. It was
It was a very sweet
uncharacteristically
moment.
happy.
Yeah.
It was yeah. It was
That's how
very,
you knew it was going
Yeah,
down.
yeah, you looked at me
Absolutely.
actually.
I looked-
You're like, this
yeah.
is too happy.
This is
I
way
know.
too happy.
Something
Yeah,
like-
It was such a sudden like what the fuck. Like it was one of those things where like I almost thought it was a dream because I was just so unexpected. I was
The
like no.
happiness?
No, the fact that
okay,
I see a Wolverine
Okay,
killing
right,
him.
so-
It's X24 goes over Xavier while he's
While he's having that
Confession.
word, well, yes.
He's
just like,
confessing to the clone, basically.
Yes. Well, Xavier was saying that like it was a beautiful night, best I've had in
He's like, I think
long,
I
long
finally
time.
understand you, Logan.
but
Yes.
I don't deserve it. He said.
Yeah.
And it was an emotional scene. We thought there'd be like this whole conversation,
No.
and then so
And then-
Wolverine's like walking closer and closer.
This Wolverine
Puts his
shape
hand,
onto his chest.
yeah, I don't know what's happening, and then he kills
And just chunk right
kills
through.
Charles Xavier
That's it.
so suddenly.
Laura-
I'm
Laura
freaking
wakes
out.
up, she's screaming, she jumps on him, he
Yeah,
throws her.
What the hell is
It's
happening?
the black kid who like gave Laura his iPod
Yeah,
comes
the son.
with a bat. He's
Yeah,
like,
he gets-
what the
what
fuck?
happened?
He
He gets
kills
thrown.
him immediately. The mom has a shotgun and
At
she's
this
like, what's
moment
going
in time,
on?
I think this is our Logan. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you
what the
doing?
fuck? Because I can't tell the difference just yet. And then what the hell? And then we see like our Logan and somewhere else, and oh.
No,
it just
but
gets
when
worse.
you saw the haircut, I was like, okay, this
I
is
don't think I
see.
noticed the haircut.
I was like,
until
wait,
later.
okay, no, because he looked younger,
He
like
did look younger.
very
Yeah,
young.
Like, something
yeah.
is off
But it took a
here.
few
Yeah.
seconds.
No,
It
you're
took a
right.
few seconds.
Until you saw the full body, you're
Yes,
like
most
okay,
definitely, most
okay.
definitely.
But it was just it felt almost like you could understand like why they did it for like the tone of the movie,
Certainly,
but like
yeah.
it's just like this poor family. It's just so
They-
senseless.
they all died.
You knew as soon as they went to their house, they were dead.
Yeah,
You knew
pretty
that.
I thought
much.
it'd be the military folks. I didn't
Yeah.
think it'd be so close to home.
I know exactly.
I think the saddest part about that particular scene was
Oh.
when the two Wolverines are fighting,
Yeah.
and the dad, who was
Oh,
fatally
God.
stabbed but still somehow
Yeah.
alive,
Yeah, he,
Oh, that was
yeah. The
so
dad
Drives
shows
the
up.
truck
Yeah.
through X24 into a
He
piece of
impales
farm
him.
equipment.
Yeah.
Then
He starts unloading.
Yeah, unloading his shotgun, and until what appears to be X24 is deceased.
He's dead. Yeah.
Mm.
And then he points his shotgun at Logan.
At Logan.
And Logan stands up off the ground and is like, I accept this.
No, I'll take it.
It's like,
Yeah.
Beat up as hell.
Yeah, he's just like, please, like, let this be the thing that kills me. Like, I don't want to go on anymore. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it. And then, like, the shotgun's just out.
It's out. It's just
Pulls
this
the
cruel
trigger, and
joke.
It's
Yeah.
gone. And then the dad,
The man just dies.
he
Right,
kills
right
over and
there.
dies.
He killed. It's
Oh,
such
that
a
was-
fucking
that
sad
was such
scene.
a painful. The dad, he's dying, and he's
I
like,
know. It's just like they had this perfect. We find out the kid goes to college. They want to go on vacation.
Oh
we
my
find out
God,
all
I
about
forgot
them.
about that.
And then it's just
He got into
boom,
college.
boom, boom. All within like a minute, they're all dead.
Yeah,
boom.
didn't he say
Like
that
it's
scene,
just
Adam?
it's
I was
so
broken.
fast.
Which one?
We're talking about the
The other
X-24 scene where he kills the black family.
Oh, I don't. Okay, so
Oh
so
my God.
this goes into one of my gripes of the movie is I fucking hate when the villain is just evil version of the hero.
Hey,
Really?
hey, I like that.
I
I like
really-
it. I like.
I really
No,
don't
but
like
okay,
it
but
usually.
here's the thing.
But
Here's
I
the
think,
thing.
But no, hold on. But let me finish. I do think that it adds a very what's the word? I think it adds thematically.
It fits
to
the
film.
theme
Yeah.
because it's all
Yeah,
about
no.
Logan's past.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It fits thematically. So even though I thought that I guess the confrontations in some ways were like, oh, here we go. It's just Wolverine versus Wolverine.
I mean, that was pretty
Boy.
cool. We've
I
never
like
seen
that.
that. We've
Yeah,
never
I
seen
like
that.
that.
I don't know.
I've never seen that
It
before.
didn't really do it for me. But I
Really?
think, but the thing is too, I think I had a lot of problems with the way the action was shot.
Really?
And
I
in
liked
some ways, in some ways, I thought the camera was too close in, or we didn't see enough.
Sometimes.
Maybe
It wasn't
sometimes.
always
I never had a
It
problem.
was
with
further
that.
back. Than
Especially,
usual.
I thought the first Logan scene was great for the most part. I mean, especially considering she was just this 8-year-old. I'm like, this is pretty good.
No, I think hers was actually pretty good. Even though, I mean, never mind. No, that I take that back. I think hers was good, but I do think that like the scene where he was, it might have been a director's choice, but when the opening scene when he's facing like the Cholo gangsters,
That was a
I
little
thought
weird.
that was god awful.
I thought it
Compared to
was
the
a
way
little
shot.
weird.
It was way too close in. You couldn't tell what was going on.
That
It was a little
it was
weird.
like-
you're right.
It was
But
a
I feel like that was supposed to be kind of. I think that was a choice.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that was a
It could be a
choice.
director's choice.
But that's nitpicky.
Wolverine vs. X24?
No, he's talking
Which
about the
one was-
beginning scene.
Yeah,
He's-
the opening scene.
But X-24, that was cool, right, Jen? It was cool.
The coolest.
Wolverine versus
Jan made the X symbol.
Okay.
Jan-
So I might have to leave again in like 2 minutes. So I'm just gonna get some things off my chest about this film.
Okay.
So
fine.
the thing is, I heard so many things about this film. I didn't watch like a lot of reviews, but like when I just heard a lot of things. I heard some people say that this is the best superhero film since The Dark Knight, which is a very, very bold claim. And honestly, like I think this was a great film, but it did not live up to the hype for me. Like it was good. I just
Really?
I just didn't think it was that good.
But you want an Oscar worthy?
No,
Yeah.
I just when you compare something to The Dark Knight, like that's a very high
Yeah,
standard.
this didn't really have like quite the depth.
Yeah,
Of,
I think I was trying to figure out like
there were still superhero moments,
yeah,
if you know
I'm
what I
trying
mean.
to like figure out
Yeah.
what the meaning behind that is, like why I didn't feel so attached to the story, or why I didn't feel like it had that depth. And there's a couple of things. First off, I think I liked Caliban. But I kind of felt bad that they kind of just used him as a plot
Yeah, his
device.
motivation was weird because I understand
yeah.
I understand your
I feel
Caliban. Yeah.
like okay, so here's the thing. My favorite 3 characters were Wolverine, Professor X, and Caliban.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of those characters you didn't see enough of, for me, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think there was a lot of really cool dynamics and really cool character moments you could have had with those 3 characters.
Yeah.
I want to know more. I want to see more about that.
But
So-
we sort of like
Yeah,
stuff
so,
like-
and Caliban gets off like really early.
Very early.
And then Professor X, I felt like they offed him before like you actually really found out
I
stuff.
kind of
I
agree
was
with
like,
that.
Like,
I kind
the thing
of
is, I
agree.
understand why it's supposed to push Wolverine to like really care for X-23. I understand.
It was a
Laura.
very bold choice,
Yeah,
because
I
we're left
under-
with just like Wolverine grunting and,
Yeah.
and Laura speaking Spanish
Yeah.
for like the rest of the movie.
Yeah, like I understand why they did it, but the thing is like, more than anything, for me, I don't know how you guys felt, but Wolverine and Professor X are the reason why I'm seeing the movie, not because of Laura. And I wanted to
Perhaps.
I
see.
didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more interaction, especially since we started getting those little bits about what happened and how he was feeling guilty. I wanted to see more character moments like that. I wanted to see more moments like when they're at the dinner table, more quiet, intimate moments where you really get to know the
But I feel like
characters.
that's supposed to drive it home, right? That's cut
Yeah.
short.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm just saying that for me, I felt like what's the word I'm looking for?
Were you unsatisfied?
I suppose I was unsatisfied, and then the thing is the driving force behind it I wasn't too happy about. I guess it's like one of those things where I'm really disappointed with the villain, I suppose. Which you
Perhaps.
could even call it Metal Hand. I don't even know what his name
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
He wasn't really a
You
villain.
know, it's Donnie Impaler.
Honestly,
then-
the
and
villain was just men with guns.
Yeah,
That's it.
and then the
Yeah.
thing is too, he had the thickest of plot armor when
Yeah, I
the
know.
goddamn grenades exploded right next to him.
I,
Like, no,
yeah,
I'm fine.
I didn't like that either.
Oh yeah, he
yeah.
jumped out the car.
Yeah, he jumped out the
It
car.
was
He
so
was
stupid.
fine.
It was like
Yeah,
don't even bother
Caliban
doing
dies,
that.
but not him.
Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
would have been nice if he actually took
I
it.
thought
he
that was
actually took it
stupid.
with him,
I didn't understand what was the reasoning of introducing the Doctor halfway through the film
Xander?
as like a secondary antagonist.
That's true.
Oh.
That
Oh,
was a
yeah.
flaw.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
I
You
mean,
should have just made the
him
focus
just-
on
From
the
the
one
beginning.
main villain
Alright.
and have
True.
him not, you know. have
Right,
the
it could have been
thickest of
Xander
plot.
from the beginning
Yeah, that's
almost.
fair.
Yeah.
I just feel like the villains could have been more compelling.
You're right.
And then what else? So there was another thing that really bugged me.
But I feel like a lot of this movie felt like almost like the enemy was just like the world itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it was just the
everything was
faceless, the
I agree.
faceless men. Like,
I mean, I'm sorry that I'm kind of taking on this conversation, but other things I really liked were like when Professor X would have like those like fucking like
Yeah, we
shockwave
mentioned
like
those,
attacks,
yeah.
like that
The
added
seizures.
a lot of tension.
those are very tense
Like
moments.
really added a lot of
The
tension.
casino where he has to go
Yeah.
through the entire casino
yeah.
to get to him.
Elevator.
The elevator was
I don't,
kind
know
of
how,
funny.
I don't know how everyone like just didn't die because Caliban
fair.
was like he was just like, oh yeah, fuck, like I was only there for a minute but I almost
Well,
died.
they were further away.
They were, yeah. We found you noticed that it got worse as you got closer.
Right, but it took what, Logan, probably like 10 minutes of that?
I know,
I'm
you're
surprised,
right.
Like,
People
the
were
soldier's head
frozen.
didn't, like fucking explode.
People were frozen for
Yeah.
a while. You're right.
That was a really tense scene.
But I think you don't have to look too into that.
Yeah, no,
That's the
I
difference.
understand. But the
Yeah.
thing is too, I think that the film hit yourself on the head a little too much in terms of foreshadowing. Like they had to show us.
I know the
at
bullet.
least
You're
5
right.
times.
You're
So
right.
you're like,
Like
okay.
you knew the
Yeah,
bullet
we
was
knew-
gonna be
we
used.
knew where it's going, and then
Yeah.
they kept on showing the serum. Like there's a reason. As soon as they were like, you can use the serum, but you don't use all.
You're
of it.
right.
And then they said it
Oh, he's
again.
gonna use
And then
all
they
of
said it again. It's like, okay, I know where this is
I
going.
guess he's gonna use everything.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Like it became, I think, a bit too obvious, and that's not necessarily a problem. But I like the way Logan kind of settled things in terms of like he's fought for so long, and then he tried to move away from what his ideals were, and then he came back near the end.
Yeah,
Blah, blah, blah. Like it was a very good character arc for sure. But for me, I just don't think it lived up to what people made it out to be. I thought Laura was okay.
I like Laura.
I think the actress did very well, especially
Yeah.
considering that she had to do
Definitely,
a lot of non-verbal acting. Which is
Yeah.
very
Very
hard.
true.
Very difficult.
This is very,
especially when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Like, Leonardo DiCaprio had to do that in Revenant. But
She portrayed a lot of emotion.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think she did a very good job without dialogue.
Yeah.
I just don't think that the character was that compelling to me. Besides the fact that like, oh, I feel bad for her because she was a manufactured mutant kind of thing, and that she's Wolverine's daughter, so to speak.
I mean, should there be anything else?
No, I'm just saying that like it's hard to compare because Wolverine we've been with like what 6 movies now, 7, and
I
Professor
suppose.
X. Yeah, it's hard to compare the two characters, or I should say.
You felt she was the weak link.
Yeah,
Like-
or like I said before, I was most interested in Caliban, Professor Xavier, and.
But the thing is, I feel
didn't
like
know who Caliban
I
was.
feel like you're chafing against what the movie was about almost.
It's about Logan.
Yeah.
I agree. Logan was my favorite part of the film.
No, I'm saying the movie like Caliban wasn't used properly. Okay, Caliban kind of got
True.
fucked.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But Xavier dying like he
That
did,
was-
like
yes.
it was bold, but like I feel like it was supposed to
I
happen
agree
that way.
completely with that.
Yeah.
With Ethan. Mhm.
I agree.
Because this is-
I'm
because-
saying, it's just that I wanted to see more of different things. But I understand
I
why
understand
it works thematically.
I understand that, but this is a movie that leaves you vaguely unsatisfied in a way.
Right, and I like that.
Like
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
It's very
I
new.
enjoy the ambiguity that this movie brought to me, and like that's this sense of like ennui that I felt leaving that movie.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that in a comic movie of all things.
Mm.
I'm curious how you would feel about a flashback, because this movie had no flashbacks.
You're right.
How-
Would-
a
There could have been a lot of
flashback
flashbacks
of what?
like whether it's
of what happened. It's like-
Xavier.
I would
Anything.
prefer. I would prefer not to hear. I would have preferred to
Yeah.
see to not only
To get it through
I think
dialogue.
It's useless to see it. I think it's much more effective if you use your imagination.
Yeah.
But if you focus the camera on not only Xavier retelling the story in his head, like oh he actually remembers, you could see the emotion.
But that's what they did.
No. I'm saying no. He's just saying
No.
why would I do it instead of
No.
a flashback? That's what I'm saying.
I see.
And then you could also focus on Logan too and his reaction because he was fucking there too, probably. So I wouldn't want to have a flashback in that sense. Let's see what else. There was I had a lot of other thoughts.
Storm died.
Everyone's
It's okay.
dead.
It's
Dude,
okay.
everybody died.
Everyone
I
died.
was wondering about Storm. Like where's Storm?
Let me ask you if you guys noticed this little thing. When he was flipping through the comic books, the
Yeah, I bet there are Easter eggs in there.
so one of the characters that was in the comic books that was falling off of a cliff in one of the panels was it Storm or was it Rogue?
I thought it was Rogue.
I
Yeah.
thought it was Storm.
No, it was Rogue.
I
It was,
don't know.
'cause
No,
she
it's
had the
Rogue.
streak of white hair.
No, yeah,
So it's
one
Rogue.
streak is Rogue.
I-
All white
I
is
was-
Storm.
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate their callback to the original X-Men movie
Yeah.
too, when they were like, "Oh, the Statue of Liberty is a
Statue of
new
Liberty.
mutant." I was like, "Oh wow, they really
Yeah.
reached in there good."
But like,
That's
like
the continuity.
I don't know if you guys like saw Hugh Jackman's face when he was watching or looking
at
at
that,
Rogue, and like
Oh.
you could tell like
Oh.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
missed
that
that.
feeling specifically for her.
Oh, Rogue died too.
Everyone died off.
Everyone died, and
I
then
know. It's just I didn't connect faces.
there was,
Everyone died.
The other thing too that I had kind of have a problem with was I felt
Good call.
like what's it called? Metal Hands, whatever the fuck his name was.
I told you,
When-
Donnie Impaler.
when he found the location because he looked at the
That did bother me. That did bother me.
because I felt like that was too convenient. Oh,
was.
he just so happened to find the picture.
Really?
You know, I felt like that was a bit
I understand
convenient.
that too. Yeah, like, it bothered me in a way. Like, but it's like I knew they had to find them.
Yeah.
But it was like fucking the one photo.
Yeah.
And they found it that day too.
Yeah.
Like if you found it the next day, they would have missed them completely. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
With the little drones.
Yeah.
and-
Let me try to think.
Okay, so there's a bit of plot contrivance at points.
no, yeah, I agree.
I
with
just
that.
think that I almost want to say like the script could have used one more rewrite or something like that.
Perhaps.
Like just more. Everything that has to do with Logan
Right.
is amazing in this film. It is exceptional. It is a character study that we've never seen before, especially for this character. Because I remember, funny enough, 4 years ago, we watched the Wolverine during our student orientation.
Yes, our first night in this apartment.
Yeah,
In-
the
in-
very
in-
same
in-
apartment.
In an apartment, and I remember we kind of had the same sentiment. We were just like, there was so much potential.
Yeah.
And then like they just fucked it. Like remember the train sequence? They're like, oh my god, this is gonna be great. It was terrible.
It's just, I don't know
Yeah,
what
but I feel like
to do.
this movie was what Wolverine
Yeah,
could have
exactly.
been.
That's what I was saying. I was like, when I was watching, I was like, I could just imagine if they took what the what's the word? I don't want to say the lessons, the ambition and the craftsmanship that they put into this film, that they put into the Wolverine movie. That's what I started thinking about. I was like,
Yeah.
could you imagine how much better that movie would have been?
Was that a PG-13 movie?
It was, but they had an R-rated cut. It just wasn't in theaters.
Alright.
Let's see.
Maybe that's what it needed.
I did appreciate the violence, so to speak, but I mean, I think it could have been done as a PG-13 film I think it could have been.
Wolverine's a
I
brutal
feel like
character.
No. I'm just saying that like you could have done it in sneaky ways. I'm saying that they can pull it off.
No, but
I don't want them to.
Done, but
I'm
it wouldn't be as
saying,
good.
yeah, I'm saying it could be done, but I prefer obviously I want the R-rated version.
Yeah.
Those claws are not meant for scratching.
Yeah,
No,
I
this
know.
is not. This is like we see how bloody this world is
Yeah.
in this movie.
It's very gritty, very Western like.
Yeah.
Very
Which they
like
made an
Western
illusion.
noir.
They made an allusion to that.
To
by
the West,
watching
yeah.
The Western.
Right.
Yeah.
Laura
exactly.
ends up watching a Western.
I don't know the
Yeah.
exact movie. I bet there's some sort of parallel.
Maybe it was Once Upon a Time in the West. Who
Yeah,
knows?
Could be.
I
I
don't know.
I'm trying to remember some of this stuff. Xavier, I really like. I said, I loved Xavier.
Xavier.
I love the introduction of him too when he's just,
Exactly,
like, going
yeah,
around. I was
yeah.
like, wow, like could you
Yeah,
just
we
imagine the difference between, or I'm sorry, you could see the difference between what you know Xavier is and what he's become.
And that hits really hard for
It
anybody
does.
who's
Anybody
like,
who's had to deal with that.
Anyone
Yeah.
who's had to deal with it, and anyone who still sees Xavier as that like
Yeah.
always that calming
Yeah.
voice, always that
Right.
mentor.
Now
that
he's
you can
like
always- yeah.
Power.
crackled and like.
And I don't know about you guys, but when I was seeing Logan kind of really taking care of Xavier, it struck a chord with me because I was like, man, like I feel like someday that's probably gonna be me.
It
having
will
to take
be,
care of my
yeah.
parents. Yeah,
And it,
And
hurt,
just-
it hurts.
It does hurt. It hurts me. Just
It
thinking
is like a
about it.
man taking care of his dad.
Yeah.
But,
I imagine if we were like fathers or something like that, this movie would probably hit in
Maybe,
different ways to
yeah.
us.
Oh yeah.
That's it. That's most things.
Yeah.
Especially this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Let me think.
Is that most of your big thoughts? Because we can move to the.
What did they ever explain what X-20 what Laura did like to that? Did she just steal the car? Oh, she didn't kill those guys that had the car.
No, she just took it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say like as long as she took it, like all right, that's
Because
not
I think that
that's
doctor,
not good.
Yeah, that doctor was the guy who was fishing.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the guy who was
I believe
fishing.
so.
And he took his
I'm
car?
pretty sure.
Yeah, because it was the same car that she took.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, either way, I don't think she killed him because
Right.
that
No.
guy was fishing.
No.
She
So-
thought he was gonna die. Everybody they meet.
I did like the moments where like Logan's like trying to teach her how to like be a normal functioning
Yeah, that
member
was
of
fun.
society. I thought that added depth to it.
The scene where she's riding on the thing.
Yeah, or like when she almost kills the store clerk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did the metal hand and all of his goons do there?
They killed them all,
I would
it seemed,
imagine-
or they at least tortured them or
Did
some
they?
shit.
Whew.
They-
I didn't even
I saw like
notice.
there's not much to get from there. Oh, did
I
you
know.
notice there's a Five Guys in there? I noticed. I was like, ooh, I want some Five Guys.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, I feel like Laura acted a lot more feral in the beginning of the movie. Like she acted like she
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
really like quite like all there.
Maybe it was protection.
Oh, okay.
I
okay.
know, but
I have one more gripe. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. There's that one scene when they come in and they're taking them when they're at their hideout.
yeah.
And Logan tries to like go into that fence with the limo. That CG was terrible.
Really?
That CG was god.
Really?
Logan?
Yeah.
You mean Laura on top of the car?
No. When the
When
limo
they're
went
trying to
into
go
the-
through it?
into the fence and it went like this.
I didn't notice.
That was
Really?
CGI?
That was CG.
Really?
I looked really bad.
I didn't
thought
notice.
noticed it.
I did not
You know
notice
CGI?
that.
I didn't notice it, to be honest with you.
I thought it
I
was.
noticed.
we did not notice
I mean,
that.
I was lost in the scene.
We're just peasants. Yeah, we were into the
I mean,
scene at that
It was
point.
so brutal. He like
Yeah.
he like knocked over
I
some
thought you were
dudes on a
gonna-
motorcycle.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna comment on him taking so long. But alright, he's gone. Adam's gone.
Adam has left once
Adam has
again.
left.
He
To
is
combat
in
that
tears.
that fear.
in
that-
tears.
that-
Yeah,
that-
we
that-
shouted him down. We're like, I didn't notice.
I mean, I don't think that scene
Yeah.
was the greatest, just because I mean, like,
Perhaps.
I feel like in the time that he was trying to
Yeah,
get through
yeah,
that
yeah.
fence.
They could have
Right,
like all.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought Adam was gonna say. Like, he's really trying to get through this like barbed wire enclosure.
And then he has to go back anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he goes back, he actually
Yeah.
takes the fence. with
Another
him.
fence. Yeah.
Which is cool.
But that one he went through a gate, so I guess it was
Yeah.
easier. Yeah. But okay, I guess we can move on to perhaps like the sort of the second half of the movie. Xavier's dead, right? They bury him. We see Wolverine like he. This is like the most emotion we see from Wolverine.
I was broken.
He's like sobbing
that's
and
right,
crying.
Yes, this is the funeral. I had
Yeah.
trouble understanding Logan in that scene.
Well, like what he was saying.
Yeah, vocally.
He was saying that
It has
it,
water.
it has water because he
Alright,
was saying
right.
like,
Yeah.
That's what he wanted.
Like that Xavier wouldn't be
It was
by
sad.
water.
It was
Yeah.
very sad.
on their sun skimmer or whatever.
Yeah.
One little part that got to me sad wise was when Logan scooped up Xavier after the stabbing and all the brutality that we had witnessed. There was Logan was like whimpering, like it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah,
That
he's
was-
trying to make
yeah, that was
sure.
not me. Like please don't
think,
This
yeah.
senile man might not know what's going on.
Yeah, he might not,
His friend
yeah.
might just get stabbed.
And then
Oh.
he would die thinking
Right,
that
and then
Wolverine
God,
did it.
that'd be horrible.
Yeah.
I don't think Logan can take that.
No, but I mean,
Oh
I
my
think we
God.
see at the end that he's sort
Yes,
of.
he does.
He at least
know
has a
what's-
positive like
Yes.
image in his mind.
Exactly. There is a smile on his face. I think he's talking about the
Yeah.
boat.
He's talking about the boat they're gonna
Yeah.
buy because they have a plan to buy a boat and just hang
Right.
out in the ocean. I
Right.
guess.
So there is that solace.
You see how beat up he is about it. He just fucking wrecks the car.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
He was
Yeah.
so
That
mad.
was a lot of emotion there.
Yeah, there was a he didn't really know what to do. He just used
It was
his
just
car.
this is
He-
where
he
this
passed
is where
out.
we start to see like Laura start to take more of like an active role, I
Mhm.
think, and she starts to like because she gets him to the hospital, and then we see she ends up driving the car for a bit because Wolverine's
Right.
trying to drive, but he just can't because he's just a mess.
He slept the entire time.
He has not
2 days.
slept, yeah, in like 2 days. He's like fucked
2 days
up, like he fought his clone, like yeah, he's a mess. And what did you guys think about like the New Mutants?
Eden? Oh,
Yeah,
the
yeah, of
mutants
Eden.
themselves.
Yeah, what did you think of them? The little bits that we saw.
I enjoyed the kids a lot.
Yeah,
It was
I-
cool.
they're
It
very
reminded
sweet.
me a lot of scenes from Hook, like the Lost Boys.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I got vibes.
And I really enjoyed that. And I like the whole. I don't know how long they were there,
Yeah.
but they had a nice little system going. They had like little cabins and such.
I liked how they had like certain like echoes, I guess, of the old mutants. Like
Really?
you could tell the leader was kind of like a Xavier clone. Like I feel like they were trying to make another Xavier,
Really?
and they ended up with him. Yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they had.
because like you could tell like he was like sharp in a
Uh-huh.
way, and then we saw him like lift a car.
Right.
Well, I thought
Yeah.
his was more like. I actually think that he had a similar power to somebody else in that group. That
Really?
I don't think he lifted the car so much as he lifted the ground underneath of it,
Maybe.
and then flipped the car.
Oh, wait,
One
or-
kid who can move people.
Maybe.
Or was it? I remember somebody's talking about maybe he was Magneto that he lifted the
Maybe.
car.
Oh yeah, maybe he was Magneto.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Potentially, he
Perhaps.
wasn't in the movie. So
Yeah.
I didn't see the ground move, but did you see anything?
I
don't think
thought I saw the ground move.
Mm.
I mean, I could be wrong.
I just saw the car.
saw
I saw a car go
Yeah.
up. But you're right, it is metal, so maybe it was Magneto,
It
which
was-
which is kind of like poetic in a way. This
Yeah.
new Magneto
Yeah.
leading the next generation.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
that is poetic.
Yeah.
So if that's the case,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he has the DNA of,
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
Magneto, then he could, in a sense,
Yeah.
be leading a pro-mutant movement.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe.
In
Well,
Canada.
DNA does not necessarily.
I mean, but I
predict
mean,
politics.
but I understand what he's saying because like these are kids who have been completely
Yeah, they
fucked
have
by
every
humans.
right to be angry.
Like you're
it's
angry
like
at
Magneto with the Holocaust. It's all over again.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, you're right.
Yeah.
like these
They might
children
have actually shaped the future because of how they treated
exactly
these kids.
because they've chased and beaten these kids
They
and
made
these
them
they're
into
fucking.
soldiers.
Uh-huh.
It's like you leave the theater both sad and just sort of angry in a
Yeah.
way. Like I mentioned, like you feel unsatisfied.
But you know what? It's, in a sense, though, it is
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, because the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
thing that Logan says as he
Yeah, exactly. You don't
does
have to
die,
fight. Yeah.
he says, don't be what they made you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
There's a glimmer of hope. Yeah.
to be
You
better.
don't have to be a killer.
Oh,
Exactly.
listens.
There's a lot of like it's a pretty open ended, but you know they got away at least for
yeah,
now.
they're in Canada.
Yeah, they're in Canada.
Apparently
Safe.
it's safe haven.
Super safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they can't really find them anymore. Yeah, they're gone.
They're out of jurisdiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't go into Canada. Are you kidding
It's
me?
more,
yeah,
I think it's more just that like all the people that were there died, and they're just in the Canadian wilderness somewhere.
Yeah.
So they're not really gonna
Kind of
find them.
program's dead.
Yeah, everybody the tracker's
dead.
dead. Everybody's dead. Yeah.
Oh, one thing I thought was kind of refreshing is that, you know, these kids were soldiers, and they were like, you know, and they showed it too. Like, they killed some of the.
Oh, there were some visceral
They
moments.
killed
Yeah.
some of the.
Even
brutes.
like you expect Laura to be like visceral because she's like a Wolverine, but
Right.
like remember like the one with the ice?
Yeah.
She freezes a guy's arm and just breaks it, and
Breaks
there's
it,
just
and-
guts
This-
everywhere.
the person who controlled wood, like,
Yeah, like the
really
wood-
atomized
She
the guy.
created this wood chipper, and he started like of course he's getting stabbed.
Exactly.
But suddenly he's in pieces.
I know he
I have no idea
exploded.
what happened.
I know it was weird. It was like he was a Magicka villain. He just died.
I think what happened is that she put the chips in him, and then she just
Maybe,
tore them
I
apart.
guess so.
I don't know what happened.
I think so.
I think in my mind I just pictured it. She just revved up the speed and it became a wood chipper, and he just got.
Yeah, I just imagine she just tore him apart. she just fucking killed
Oh
him.
my god.
It was pretty
they are
insane.
not to be trifled with.
So,
Yeah,
so
no.
what are the powers? We saw that
Oh.
there's the one that can control wood,
Yes.
potential Magneto,
Electricity kid.
which one?
Electricity kid. Yeah.
Reduce voltage.
I would
Ice
comment
breath.
on him.
There was a potential fish child.
Yes.
He might have been.
Yeah,
Darwin.
that's a weird one. What was he?
You remember Darwin from New
Oh, wait.
First class, right?
Yeah.
God, yeah. I forget what he does though.
He just
Adapts.
adapts.
Okay.
Adapt to survive.
Yeah.
man.
Adapt
I was,
to
I was
survive.
actually thinking he was similar to the frog character from the first
Toad?
No,
Toad.
maybe.
I don't know if
That'd be
he
an
was
odd
so wise.
choice.
Maybe. It's left
We
open.
must breed more
We need
toads.
another toad.
That's what we
The
need.
Yeah.
ultimate weapon.
You're right. They are only breeding mutants that like would be good to have. You
Oh,
know
there
what
was
I
a
mean?
fire person. Too.
Yeah, they had the fire
Yes.
one. Yeah, there were a few telekinetic type things, stuff like
The
that.
one kid, he
Yeah.
can move people.
Oh god, that scene where because fucking was it Pierce? They finally kill Pierce, right?
Oh, yeah.
All the kids just gang up on him, and they just sort of like really they all sort of poke at him until he dies. Donnie, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Donnie Pierce,
you'd think it'd
yeah.
be cathartic, but it was really brutal.
It was like kind of brutal and almost I felt like it wasn't enough in a way.
You know what?
But it was a bad way to go.
I want to know what his plan was.
I don't know.
Because Donnie's plan, everyone around him is dead. He's the only one left on his team.
Yeah.
And so he decides to release the
24.
then captive X-24.
Fair.
So let's just say X-24 was like going to succeed.
Oh yeah, how does he stop
can't
him?
control X-24.
Yeah, he can't stop him. We've seen before. Yeah, he just keeps going. X-24.
Yeah.
I don't think he was getting out of there alive. So he's
Yeah,
like,
so
all right.
I mean, this is
Yeah, he's
some hope.
like honestly, he probably was gonna like release him and then just run,
Yeah.
and just like maybe come back and get him. Like,
If
but
that.
yeah, if that,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I mean, what did you guys think of like the final showdown? Like,
I wanted to comment.
Oh, yeah, comment on the kid,
Like,
on the
just
kid.
kid specifically. He's a little boy. And he's like kind of on the heavier side.
He's a chubby
little,
boy.
little chubby
he's
black boy.
a tank. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like reminds me of another kid in Hook, but another little chubby black boy. But
There's a chubby
there
black
was-
boy in Hook?
There was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a lost boy, and he was great. But there was one little moment in the final chase. So they're all the kids are making a break for Canada. They're in the woods. Sorry.
No, up. Yeah.
Oh, up?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, louder. Yeah.
All right, they're in the woods, and they're making a break for Canada, and they're being chased mostly on foot
Yeah.
by these soldiers. I don't know why. I was trying to figure out exactly what the plan is to do with the kids. I thought they were supposed to kill them, right?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know
You're
what
right.
they're
You're
trying to
right.
do,
You're
actually.
right.
Then they
Yeah.
should be shooting.
I know. You're
as
right.
opposed
You're
to
right.
chasing.
You're right.
They were trying to put them to sleep. So I think
But why-
cryogenically freeze them. So like say they
Oh.
do have a need for them. Say they could eventually control
Yeah,
their
I'm
lives.
figuring that's just like they thought they were useful still
Oh,
maybe,
okay. All right, so that
but
makes
I
more
guess
sense.
They
they
like
put
it.
a lot of money into
That
that.
makes a little more
Yeah.
sense. All right, so I feel better. But so they're running, and there's this one, and that girl that I mentioned previous to the podcast, the one who's like at the end of the movie. But there's this one little moment where there might have been other members.
is it the one where he's running?
He's running.
And like this poor
This
kid,
poor kid.
he
Is
is
running
not
as
built
fast
to
as
run.
he
He is
can.
not
He's
built to
going fast,
run.
though.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like it was cool. I really liked how it displayed the innocence of and his youth,
Yeah.
because there's big tattooed burly men running after
This poor little black
kids.
kid.
And I don't know. It reminds me of like chasing my little cousins, because you will catch up to them, and they
Yeah.
know you are coming very fast, faster than they can go.
Yeah.
And I saw that. And there
Yeah.
was a feeling that I got from the girl next to me, and I think from a few other people in the theater, were just like, oh.
No, yeah. It's,
go!
no, yeah. It's a very sad,
It was a
like,
very sad
oh
thing.
fuck, like you know he's not getting away.
This
That's
kid
the
doesn't.
thing.
He doesn't even know how to run. He doesn't have form.
Yeah,
doesn't
he
know
like
any
he's
of
not
that.
built.
And when these people tackle these
Yeah,
kids,
They take him down.
It's like
Yeah.
They take
this
him
is-
down.
This is
Yeah.
two-hand touch. This is like
Two-hand touch. No, they're going down.
Yeah.
They shoot one of the kids.
It's like when they
Yeah.
when they tackle them, it's like they're not even touching the ground. Like they jump.
Yeah.
Their legs are in the air. And
That's
they're
right. Yeah,
They go
take
down.
me and,
They put him in. They're struggling, and then so basically they round him up, and we see Logan. He takes his fatal dosage of the fucking this like it's just the green juice thing that makes you better. Like I mean, it works the plot device. I'm fine with it.
It
Yeah.
enhances
The
healing
Yeah.
factor,
Oh, healing factor.
Yeah,
but
basically.
only temporarily.
Right.
So because basically like he looked
Cost him
in that
insane-
final scene he looked so old.
Well,
Like they definitely they beefed it up because like when he's running to try and get to them, oh yeah, the kids shave him at some
yeah,
point.
it was,
Yeah.
It was a cute little moment.
It was a fun. It was a
Like
nice
old
moment.
school.
Yeah, they
Is
gave
that
him.
what that was?
No, yeah, it was the old school Wolverine do. That's
Yeah.
why. Yeah, like the weird lamb chop thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it actually, I thought
Yeah.
it was reminiscent. That was another thing that reminded me of Old Man Logan.
A little bit maybe. Yeah.
Alright, I didn't know that. Okay.
And it was just like. So basically, Logan because we see him like try because like he knows what's happening. He wakes up and he sees drones going towards where the kids are going, and he's like, "Fuck." And like he's trying to get there like on foot. Like,
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
sprinting
Alright,
and like
the 8-mile hike.
like this is the first moment where like you really see his age.
Yeah.
Like he looks frail. He looks skinnier.
Mm.
Like his face was like pathetic, and he's just like
He's like huffing and puffing.
he's huffing, like he's
Watching.
wheezing,
Yeah.
and then like he takes out the Gatorade and he just fucking
Gatorade.
fucking he puts it, he goes all in, and he just fucking
Electrolytes.
and like it's like for a few seconds like he's back, right?
It was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. Like
Because
he's
he injects
sprinting.
himself, and we see a Logan that we haven't
seen all
in this
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
And when he finally catches up to his daughter,
Yeah. Yeah,
so to say,
yeah.
and just like it would seem like they fought with each other or
Yeah.
side by side for
Yeah.
forever.
Pretty
So them
much.
playing back with each other. And
Yeah. It was a joy to watch. Honestly, these two fucking killing everything. It was amazing to watch.
It was really cathartic, yeah. But at that running, that little moment where
Yeah, that moment where he first does
sprinted,
it, he sprints through and he kills
we were
like 7
oh, shit,
guys.
it's on now because he's running better than he has all movie.
He does that thing where like he lunges and like he just forgets what gravity is
Yeah.
for a bit. And he just goes forward.
That's the Wolverine movie.
And I was like, that's Wolverine. That's Wolverine. But it doesn't last forever.
No.
It's like
It
he
fades pretty fast.
yeah, it fades pretty fast,
He
honestly.
was running for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that's
killed
true,
quite a few
that's
people.
true.
And basically he catches up with Laura and he tells Laura to like go in with the group and like he faces off with Xander. And okay, before we talk about that, I want to mention Xander should have died at the farm because that was bullshit too.
The lead.
The evil scientist man.
Okay, alright.
Because after Logan kills X-24 like dies, like
Oh, he should have killed Xander.
yeah, Xander was like behind. I guess maybe he just didn't see him, but like he's just sort of like there behind him, like holy
Well,
shit.
You also gotta
And then-
realize that this is
yeah.
the point where Xavier died.
I know you're right. So it's just like he just wants to get out of there. You're right. But it's just it followed the trend of like what happened with the other guy in the beginning of the movie, where like they just didn't kill him for some reason, and they just caused more problems for them later. And it's like
it's kind of like like he's not trying. Like the Wolverine is like always caught between like he could just kill everybody, but
I know, but
he
it's
doesn't have to. He's still
But
like
it's
a
like-
I mean,
hero,
at that
right?
moment he was.
but a lot of
I mean, like we were talking about before, like he embraced death at the father.
yeah, he did.
And he was just do it, please. Like I
Yeah.
have lost everything.
Yeah, everything's
And
done.
I don't know if he was really up for another fight, especially
You're right.
after the beatdown that he
You're right.
received.
You're right. It is easily ignored. But at the end, like he talks to Xander, and they're talking about what the fuck ever, like
Weapon X.
Weapon X, like
He's
how
the
they did
son
it.
Of William Stryker? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
alright.
Like my father made you. Yeah, I think I killed him. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I think you
X,
did.
yeah, X2.
I think you did. That's like a weird quip moment. You know?
I think he was just like taking
Yeah.
it back. He's
Yeah,
No, I think you did.
yeah.
And it's just the final fight against X-24 is like it's pretty brutal because Wolverine is clearly like this is the point where you sort of know he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like
I
you
mean,
definitely do.
I feel like the entire movie.
Like you sort of knew, but like there were moments where like okay maybe.
See,
Like
the way I thought it was going to end was that I thought like they were like, you can't take all of that, otherwise it's gonna go crazy. I thought he was gonna take all of it, save all of them, and then he was gonna kill X-23 or something by
And then
accident.
melt.
No, and then melt, and then and then he would like beg the other kids like to just kill me or something like that because he had nothing else. To live for.
that's
I
too
thought-
too edgy.
I
That's
thought
too-
that's what they were going for. I was like, that's like that's
No.
what I said. I was like, that's a little too edgy.
No, that's
I
too
think.
edgy. Like
To kill
Wow, Wolverine
X-23.
kills himself? Jeez.
What I thought was interesting was that the way he killed him, not X-23, what was it, Xander?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
The
yeah.
way that he kills him,
Metal
he used a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throughout, like, this
Oh, that
movie,
was actually-
it's
yeah,
true,
good point.
Previous
That's true.
movies, he's like, I don't like guns.
And this
That's
is
true.
But then
finally
he takes
yeah.
this juice.
You're right.
He's running. He's like, I gotta save my daughter. I gotta save these kids.
And
I
you
gotta,
know he
do
knows.
something. So he's running through. He's slicing these people. He takes a gun. He shoots
Bam, yeah.
this car that's going by to like save some people.
You're
and
right. You're
he
right.
Saves the gun and then uses it to shoot Xander.
To shoot Xander. You're right.
Very sudden.
He's
Yeah.
he's like, I don't care anymore.
Right.
Nobody's
That's a
expecting
very
that.
subtle
Nobody
character
was
moment.
expecting
You're right.
that.
It's just bang. Okay, keep going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's very good.
That's fair, yeah.
And then so X-24 is just absolutely crushing him.
With
and then
a door of
No,
no, reverse. But
Just in general.
basically what happens is what they basically like he's fighting X-24 and then the Magneto kid, possibly Magneto
Yeah.
kid, drops a car on X-24 and then they're like we have to go. Let's run. And then you could see
I'm
X
the only one that was surprised that he got up from that.
I was a little surprised but I knew he had to get
so
up.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you figured that maybe he would just be stuck there forever.
Yeah, that's what I thought was gonna
Yeah.
happen.
I know, I thought so too, but no, we can't get away with that. Because he gets out and then he kills. He doesn't kill him, but he mortally wounds.
He picks him up by his
Yeah.
claws, shish kebabs him.
Shish kebabs him onto like a stump.
Yeah.
I thought what was gonna happen was like as he was doing that, I thought all the kids were like, hell no, we're not gonna kill Wolverine, and they all like basically did what they did to Metalhead.
Right.
except
I
they-
figured they could have helped, but like he is very dangerous.
But
Yeah.
it also makes sense thematically that X-23 is the one that's like
Yeah.
there, and blah 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 blah.
And we finally see the fucking like the bullet, the
additive-
Chekhov's gun, you know,
It is
the
Chekhov's
Chekhov's
bullet.
gun.
Yeah.
Like she find it's kind of weird how she does it too. Like it's just like what is it about like the bullet adamantium that makes it like so he's dead this time? We know.
I think
Because it
Just-
can
it
pierce all
actually pierces his
skulls.
brain.
I see.
I guess.
But we saw it. I feel like
well, I'm pretty sure Wolverine's probably stabbed her in the head like 10 different times.
no
I don't know if
that.
there's ever a head wound.
But was there really never a head wound? Because I feel like when the dad was shooting him, like I saw a bit of skull.
Yeah.
Like I was
I
pretty
don't think
sure.
it
So it definitely
Okay.
destroyed part of his face.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just never pierced the skull.
Yeah, it never
I
pierced
see.
his skull.
Oh yes,
So,
the face.
Oh, that's
is
right.
all
You're right. I
it's
guess
all
the
flesh.
brain is kept in the adamantium.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Okay.
So that I guess I mean assuming that it actually did kill him for good.
No, yeah, he's pretty. I'm pretty sure. He's just in there in the wilderness wandering now. Like, no. It's very quick too. It's like almost like we're denied like
This
a
movie were very sudden.
Yeah.
There was no.
no
No,
lingering.
yeah.
Just boom. That's it. Yeah.
It's not necessarily mine.
It was actually like in me.
I
Like,
think
he's
the longest
stabbing
death
you.
that we have is Wolverine
Yeah.
because we see him go
You know
down
that he's
completely.
dying the entire time.
Yeah.
Maybe the Johnny Paler. His death is pretty.
What did you
strong.
guys think of that final scene between Laura and Wolverine?
I shed a tear.
You shed a
And
tear?
I felt it go down my
I felt
face.
it.
and I was so happy.
So what? I
And
didn't
it
quite
did.
catch what he's like the last thing that he said to her. What did
It
he
was
say?
he said, so this is what it feels like.
That was the last line.
That was the last line.
But before that, you can't really hear them too much.
Okay.
But before that, he's like, don't be what they made you to
That's
be
what I
type
thought he said.
thing.
That was
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I missed that too. I didn't
Yeah.
understand that either.
Which is very poetic coming from him.
I know.
Right.
Yeah. It's like basically him imparting hope onto the next generation,
Mhm.
even though this generation has nothing but despair and
Right.
all their heroes are dead and they're
She
left
saw
by
what
themselves.
she could become
Yeah.
through Logan.
and
Or X-24.
during
And X-24, I guess. Yeah.
during this part, this was the part where in the background the kid had the doll of Wolverine, right?
Yeah, we saw briefly when they bury him. Yeah,
I don't
the
know where
fat
he got
black
it
kid.
from. I don't know if he just had it like in his backpack.
I
He got it in
love
his back-
Wolverine.
but, like he just had it. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
Carry it around all
basically
the time.
the
That's
kid.
probably in his backpack.
The kids give him like this just this burial in the random wilderness. Wolverine is buried, and the final bit where because it's a cross stick,
Yeah.
right?
As the
Laura takes it
Oh,
and
with
she
the
turns it as an X,
Yeah, that
and
was,
that's just and the movie's
Yeah.
My
done.
heart.
I was so I was
like, oh,
that's what
I
got
like,
me.
that's
That's
really-
what got me.
that was
yeah.
a fantastic way to end.
I was
Like-
really hoping for a hand to burst through.
Oh god.
I'd be pretty pissed.
I would be pissed too. I'd be like, fuck
I
this
feel
movie.
so cheap.
I know that would feel so dumb.
Swindled.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like he's an X-Man.
Yeah,
He's an X-Man.
Yes.
I mean, and
They're all
That's
dead now.
amazing.
and it
Well,
kind
no,
of-
the kids are alive.
The X-Men.
they're basically
Well,
the new X-Men.
Yeah, they're the new X-Men.
But-
But
They're the
Where's
W, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The W.
please.
Z-Man.
I mean, it's kind of like they touch on it in the movie about how like Wolverine is this loner that, but also someone that needs to have a family. He just knows
Yeah.
that he can't have a family. So
They all
it just
die.
it's just a good way to end everything because he comes back to family and all that. But I will say I think that this is a very like I mean it could be better because we already pointed out some flaws with it. But this is a fantastic way for Hugh Jackman to like
To leave off.
This is it. I'm done
Yeah.
with the character.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
they
They
couldn't
said
have, they couldn't have been a much better send-off.
Okay, so I heard this is what happened. So Hugh Jackman was doing some sort of interview and they asked him, so you're gonna do that Wolverine for Deadpool 2, huh? And he was like, listen guys. And then he went into this whole thing about how he watched it with Patrick Stewart. And then at the end of the movie, he apparently like grabbed Patrick Stewart's hand or something like that. And then like they both looked at each other Hugh Jackman was already crying, and then Patrick Stewart started, and then he started
Oh
crying.
my god.
And they were like,
we're
and
done.
they're like, this is it. We're done. We're done.
Yeah, you can't.
Like,
You can't.
That's such a,
No
that's a
more. No
perfect-
promos. No bullshit.
That's a
Fuck
perfect
off.
moment. That's perfect.
Yeah, that is the
And then
last.
it happens.
Let it end.
They can't ruin that sanctity.
What did you guys think of like the ending as a whole? Because like they get away, right? And it's like sort of happy, but like I keep saying, like it's sort of left kind of open. Like
So
you know
you're not
these
feeling happy at the end of
these
this movie.
kids like they have rough lives ahead of them, no
Yes.
matter what.
Yeah.
Like But I kind of like it that way
No,
in a way.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Tone.
This was it
You're
was
right.
a bold move on the movie's part.
Very bold. Yeah.
I'm not sure if the general audience might
Yeah, that's the thing.
might like it. I always use my parents in these examples because
Like,
they're
would
very
your
standard.
dad
Yeah,
like it?
would my dad, because he has such, he gives movies these a lot of movies recently have non-standard
Yeah.
endings, and he gives him shit for it. And I realized that this movie did not leave you necessarily happy.
No,
But
it does not.
The consensus was that Wolverine would die, and I don't know if I was thinking about that, but I loved that this movie took a non-standard ending.
Yeah.
And
It would
took a
have
lot of
cheapened the
things-
movie.
It would
Yeah.
cheapen, most definitely. I really loved the ambiguity
Yeah.
that this movie showed in many ways, and how densely emotional I felt
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
a comic book movie that I'm not used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've done that yet. in
Didn't
a
make you
superhero
feel
film.
good.
What?
Didn't make you feel
Yeah, this
No.
is like one of the first comic book movies that didn't make me feel good at the end.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I felt like
I appreciate
whoa,
that.
whoa, dude.
I don't know. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know.
Except maybe Age of Ultron, which made us feel
That
angry.
just made us feel angry, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
Not in an unproductive way. No.
Is there anything else before we do final ratings?
Yeah. Anything else? Because I think we're close to wrapping it
I
up.
mean, I kind of missed most of the discussion.
Right.
So I don't want another retread. So.
I think we're fine.
I
Yeah.
can think of one. That maybe you guys can
A
you
bit
can
that
bash
you-
on me if you want. So people were comparing it to The Dark Knight, and other people like I think Adam and Jan was saying I don't think that's a fair comparison. Dark Knight was kind of, I think you said it was like superior. At least Jan did.
I think Dark Knight's Dark. Okay, so I don't really want to get into this whole debate because it's very long. The whole reason why Dark Knight is the great superhero movie is because it's not a superhero movie.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it's so good.
Do you think this one was a superhero movie?
It's very close
Yes,
to not
I-
being,
I
in my opinion.
I think it's hard.
There were moments. Yeah,
There-
you're right.
It's a very human superhero movie because they do a lot
Yeah.
to ground Logan, but
Yeah.
it's a super. Professor X has like a brain aneurysm that causes a nuke to go off. Like
Yeah, and
on.
Batman wears a bat suit, and he should.
But I think you can make an argument that Batman's just a super cop, whereas Professor X and Wolverine.
Well, that
are-
just feels subjective. At
Oh
that
wait,
point.
you mean in
That's
terms
just-
of like what's capable in this world?
This movie is very comic booky because there's so many
The powers.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Whereas the Dark Knight is very grounded in
You're-
reality.
okay.
And,
Okay.
and
Right.
I'm not saying that in order to transcend this comic book genre, you have to be grounded in reality. But what I'm trying to get to is that the Dark Knight, the reason why it's so good, the reason why it's so well respected, is because it's not even a comic.
It's more of a crime. Sort of.
Yeah, it's a crime
I
drama.
don't think it's a super. It's still comic book. It's not superhero.
What, Dark Knight?
Yeah.
It's
I like that
still,
better.
this comic book isn't
Yeah.
like this like fantastical stuff all the
Right.
time.
could be filmed more.
It's
I
just,
like
it's
that.
just another
You're right,
medium
you're right.
to tell stories.
That's-
Right.
yeah,
No,
you're very
I
right.
agree, but like I think what I'm trying to get at is that movie is much more of a crime drama, a la like almost like not Sleeping Dogs, that's a video game. Almost like Infernal Affairs or something like that, where it's about it's about testing the law, the limits of the law. Is that good? Do we have to do more in order to enforce justice? Blah 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 blah. But
But I mean, this is. I feel like this it's perhaps not as like articulate with the themes that it's tackling, but I feel like it's still tackling like very like human emotions and
I agree.
themes.
I'm
No,
just saying
he's,
that.
talking, he's talking setting.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think the Dark Knight is superior. That's all.
I think
Yeah.
where this movie shined, perhaps.
I can
and-
understand
And
that.
this may be where why I maybe like put it a little higher than maybe other people. Is that like maybe in the world that it built? Because I felt like there was a lot of depth to this world,
No, you make a good point.
and that and maybe in the Dark Knight I thought had really good stories and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was just a city with a lot of crime and stuff like that. And this one built like a whole world to it, and that was.
Mm.
And I think that was one of its big strengths.
I mean, I mean, I'm not gonna deny that the world building in the film was
That's just my opinion.
great because it was amazing. I don't want to get into a debate about what's better because I feel like that gets away from the point.
Oh, I'm not
of-
saying
of
which
the-
one's better.
of the
I feel like what's better is a personal choice.
Yeah,
As well.
At the end of the day, it's subjective. But.
I mean, I feel like out of a lot of superhero movies, this is probably one of the least superhero movies we've seen
In a
in
while.
a very
Yeah.
long time.
It's very much a risk, and
Yeah.
I applaud them for it. In an era where we get like 6 superhero movies
A year.
This is the
And they're
first
fun
time
and-
where
They're always fun. Yeah, this is a very
Yeah,
different
this is the
tone.
first time. Well, not even that. This is the first time someone took a risk and it actually paid off.
Yeah.
I mean, you could call Batman v Superman a risk. It was terrible. You could call Suicide Squad a risk. It was
But you're
terrible.
right. It is exciting to see. Like maybe we could get more movies like
Yeah,
this.
You could
Perhaps,
call
yeah.
Fantastic Four a risk. That was
Oh, fuck that
god-awful,
movie.
too.
How was that a
Fan
risk?
four stick.
Because they made another one.
Yeah.
No. It's because, I don't even want to talk about how bad that movie
Wait,
was.
do we call Logan a superhero movie?
I don't really think it's a superhero.
Because there's
movie.
no heroism like in it.
It's
just,
like
I mean, there's heroism, but I wouldn't call it a superhero.
no, I wouldn't call it
But the
heroism.
thing
because
is,
I
it's-
just think that's just driven. It's just like there's this like they start with a narrative that you get behind, regardless. But it's not like it's a heroic ideal. There's no like it's not like an ideal. You know what I mean? Like Logan didn't do what he did in the beginning because of an ideal. It turned into an ideal, but
Yeah.
that's because of character development.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean by what he did? You mean by taking care of Laura?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was about to say
The
this.
most heroic thing he did is take care of Laura.
I agree. No. What I was gonna say is that like I don't think it was an I think that his ideals.
I think.
Because when you said like I'm not sure what he did, I was gonna say no. He was committed to Xavier. That's an ideal.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about Laura, then I agree.
But I feel like because those ideals, like, even though like they were like it took us a while to get to that point, they were still in the movie, right? Like they were still like that bit of hope and stuff.
Yeah, I think he like went from anti-hero to hero, but still did a lot.
But that's
But
why
I think it's like-
that's why I still think that it's kind of a superhero movie.
It's like a
Yeah.
weird. I can't.
you're right.
I don't find it like I don't find him like.
But,
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, Wolverine's
He's
always been an
definitely
anti-hero
yeah.
to some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been the leader of X-Force, blah 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 blah. blah.
Canadian X-Men. By the way, this is
X-Force is not the Canadian X-Men.
I know.
Okay.
Just
Oh,
he was
okay.
part of that, right?
I mean, I don't think there is a Canadian. He was part of Alpha Flight, if that's what.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Or Canadian Avengers or whatever it was.
Canadian.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
they exist.
I don't
By
know.
the way,
That's
Jan is the one coming in here, in case you're wondering.
No, don't worry about it.
The
It's just-
mystical Jan Dean Catarata.
This G.
I mean, I guess that seems like most of the movie, folks.
Yeah.
Do you have
that's the
anything to
final-
say, Jan? Since you came in kind of late.
No, I don't have much to say. Like my biggest
Yeah.
things is, if we're talking about comic book movies, I still think Dark Knight's better. It's a very gray area movie. It's very excellent, in that it's very original. Like it's fresh.
Yeah.
Like, I would call it fresh. Like it's something after the quote unquote like fatigue of superhero.
After like Civil
movies,
War and all that.
After relentless like superhero movie
Yeah,
after superhero movie, it's good to see one that's like not completely different. It's like huge, like thematically different and
Yeah.
setting.
You walk out
And
feeling different.
As like
Yeah.
we said before when we were talking about Civil War a little bit, instead of making things bigger, badder, like what's the next?
Oh, no, you're
threat,
right, you're
now
right,
it's-
you're
they
right.
go
That's
inward.
true.
That's right. This
They
is
go
exactly what I
inward.
wanted.
Yeah, they go
you're right,
inward.
you're right.
They look at the characters.
Yeah.
struggle,
Very small.
And
They
see
very
what-
easily, it very easily could have turned into we gotta save the world, Laura.
Yeah.
And that would've- that would've
giant
sucked.
beam in the
There's
sky. Another flying beam in the sky.
Because
Oh,
it
no.
could have been like Laura had like a superpower that was like gonna save the world type
Yeah.
thing, but they didn't do
That's
that.
true.
They didn't do
It
that.
could've been very,
Yeah.
you're right.
No,
It's
she
like,
just has
wow.
claws. That's it. That's it.
I thought the
It could've-
movie was offensively violent.
Offensively.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that
when
was-
she gets
that was his
screwed.
word, yeah.
I really like to call it offensively violent.
But you're pretty
because-
sensitive to gore.
No, it's not. No, because I really enjoyed it. But I'm saying that like it was so grotesque that like 20 years ago this would have
No,
not. happened.
never,
No, kids
never.
killing other people.
Yeah,
like,
never.
Getting attacked, getting stabbed.
Yeah,
in the
it was
heart.
insane.
Wow, it's funny how
That
that's
is
changed.
that is insanity.
Yeah, it's
to
insane.
Think about. You know what I mean?
Like a good Christian mom is gonna watch this movie and be fucking pissed about this
I
movie.
used to like this
Yeah,
Logan
it's
fellow.
Wolverine. It's a superhero movie. Let's go.
It passes today because of our desensitization
Yeah.
towards violence, and that's because of all this superhero
Our bread
movies
and
coming
circus.
through.
Kids these
and
days.
stuff, but like it's so violent that
You're right.
that like we don't sense it now, but if you take a step
You're right,
back
you're
and
right.
look at it in the history that it came from, it is one of the most violent films of his
I was
genre.
into it though.
It's one
I
of
was
the-
totally into it.
If I had to compare this movie to another one, I would say it's kind of, and I just forgot the name of it. Well, John Wick. I would say it's like John Wick.
Interesting.
In the sense that they're out of the game, you know, and then they're
Uh.
like forced to get back in, and then everyone's just like dying left and right, and
They're
then
legends.
just Logan just has more character development.
Yeah.
you know?
I think in Logan, like the violence it feels more
Visceral, real.
like it's like adrenaline pumped, savage.
Very practical.
Just very
Like
rude.
primal like
Yeah.
violence, because it's all like up close and like personal, like a
Yeah,
lot.
it's
of,
just it's just
I mean,
him slashing
It's
dudes.
just him because the thing is Wolverine, and they never did a good job of showing this in the films. Wolverine's supposed to be like one of the best hand-hanging combatants in like the entire fucking Marvel universe.
Now we see it a little bit.
Well, no, but in this movie you don't really see it. Like
Because he's
kinda-
old.
you just
but-
just
That's true.
I mean,
You know,
still-
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that like that
He's
just
out of the
adds
game.
more to
There's
the
no
more to
finesse.
the story about it in terms of like he's out of the game, he's old, and he just using his like rage really.
Yeah,
that was one of my biggest strikes about the Wolverine movie because like. Well, where are you? I'm the Wolverine. It's like, come on, guys! Like, he can do more than just lunge.
All right, final thoughts.
Yeah,
people.
let's
Final
let's,
yeah,
thoughts.
go
let's
around,
wrap it
go
up.
around,
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts and rating. Go ahead.
All right,
Austin,
I'll go first.
yeah.
Austin, go ahead.
So, I've been watching a lot of maybe similar content with that brings this emotion out of me. I've been watching. I finished The Sopranos. I just started Breaking Bad, and I don't know if I'm a sucker for it, but the ambiguity in that this movie showcased a lot, like how we didn't necessarily get a lot of detail about what happened with Charles. I like that. I like that how they did that. I like how they chose that. This movie left me feeling in a way that I don't. Yeah, louder. Oh, this movie left me feeling in a way that I'm not used to feeling with superhero movies. I don't quite. It's been a long time since I've seen The Dark Knight, and I don't really remember how I felt at the end of it. But I'm pretty sure it was nothing like this.
No.
And
To be fair, that came out in 2008.
true.
Yeah.
All right.
Our minds were very.
We are
different.
judging these two
Yeah.
movies. So I don't know. I mean, I won't. I'm not sure if I can rightfully comment which one is better. But I really enjoyed Logan. I don't. Think
Give me a number, boy.
I know.
Or a letter.
Or a letter. Little letter.
Or a spill scale. if
I'm
you-
gonna give it like a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
9 out of
Oh,
10.
shit.
Yeah, I've given a lot of 8s in our movie reviews, and I think it's my first 9 out of 10.
Oh, I forgot that our movie rating scale is not universal.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I forgot
it's
it's not.
so
It's whatever
personal.
you want it to
I
be.
give it,
Austin
Yeah.
scales out of 10.
Oh, actually,
Mine's out of banana.
On my
About half
on
a
my
banana.
on my personal scale, I give it like a mid-tier
Mid
4.5 stars.
out of 5.
High tier 4.5 out of 5. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Tom, would you like to wrap?
So when I watch a lot of comic book movies,
Yes.
whether it's Marvel, whether it's DC, I get giddy.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like I am a child again.
You're having fun.
Being exposed to comic books for the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
And I'm watching those Saturday morning cartoons.
yeah.
If you were to look at me, I'm sitting in my seat, jumping up and down. This is beautiful and amazing, and I got that with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I also got so much more because this is
Yeah,
not a
you're
child
right.
movie.
It's a good point.
This
You're
is
right.
an adult movie that has
You're right,
so
you're
much
right.
character development, so much gore. I mean, again, going back to it, this 8 to 12-year-old child got speared through the heart.
Savage as fuck.
I mean, it's like
I wanted to look at you when that happened. I was like, what the fuck, Chad? What kind of movie is this?
so.
You set the tone for the rest of the
I know. I was like, what movie is it?
So this movie appeared to my inner child. It appeared to my growing adult.
Yeah.
And
You're
it
very
just
right,
it appealed to a lot in me.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I think I'd have to agree with Austin and say it gets a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. All right, Jake. Would you like? What's next?
I really enjoyed like I said this a couple times. I really enjoyed the world that it built.
You like X-Men.
Yeah, I like X-Men in general. It's like one of my favorite worlds. But I mean, the world around it. I like, again, Austin said, like the very ambiguous like storytelling, as well as the subtlety of how they just showed things, and I always appreciate that. And just probably as Ethan will touch on, just liked how like gritty the movie was for once. It's just something like fresh and I don't know. Just that's like this. Like that's what usually with superheroes, like they like Superman can crush somebody's head or something like that, or like.
But he doesn't.
But he doesn't because it's a comic book. That's not what they're going for. Here they showed these claws are not meant to just scratch people. They are meant to cut off arms and go through heads and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, that's a cool angle to take, and so I appreciate that. And I just really enjoyed the the themes and the kind of movie that it was. So I'll give it 5.5 claws out of 6.
Out of 6.
Yeah.
You Satanist.
5.5 claws.
All right, I guess it's my turn. I can't say everything else has pretty much been said. I mean, it was almost like a very noir movie in a way, very like unsatisfying in ways, but I liked it. It was very kind of frustrating, and it was really cool, and 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I have to echo a lot of. I know it seemed like I was more negative than a lot of the other people here, but I have to.
Critical.
But I have to
Higher
I
standards.
have to agree with a lot. I don't even think it's. I think it's just I came in with too much hype. I think, but I have to agree with a lot of what they said. The visceral action is amazing, even though there was a couple of times it wasn't shot that well. It's still really nice to see. The grittiness, the world building is there. And one thing I don't know if you guys touched on, I thought some of the cinematography in this movie was like out of this world. Some of the way things were shot, like even that one scene when you just see her like grab Logan's hand next to Charles's grave. That's very powerful. And then that's another thing that I was gonna say too. There's a lot of show not telling in this movie, which I really appreciate, which is very hard to do in film. There was a couple of other problems I had with it, namely the main villain just wasn't that compelling, and I didn't see a lot of the characters that I wanted to see. But as we said before, that's kind of on purpose. That's kind of what they want to do with the film.
Yeah.
And I think overall it's a fantastic film. It just didn't do it for me what I thought it would, and I suppose I didn't feel as emotional as I thought I would. But it still hit me for sure. I mean, trust me, I love Wolverine as a character. He's one of my favorite superheroes. But I'd have to. Yes, X.
We're pantomiming the X. Except for Jan, he's just sort of staring at us.
Raise your X's! Raise your X's!
But I definitely, I'm gonna give it a full price. Definitely go see it. Support it. I really have to appreciate the fact that they took a risk and that they were successful with that risk.
All right, Jan, you like to end off this podcast?
No. My final thoughts on the movie is basically that I'd say it's a fresh take on a genre that's been overly saturated in the past, I would say at least 2 years. Let's say last 2 years. That's just getting more and more saturated with more people throwing their hats into the ring. I would rate it like, I would say 9 out of 10, but let's say
you
10.
had gripes.
I'll make it a 10.
Whoa.
Out of 11.
No, Jen.
Out of 11.
No, you know what that is? That's an X.
An X. X out of Z.
Yeah, X. I'll give it an X out of
Z. Yeah.
XI.
Yeah,
X out of XI. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
Go see it.
Yeah, go see
Definitely
it.
go see it.
Support this filmmaking.
Because this is what it feels like.
Yeah, let the industry know we want something fresh.
Yeah.
Alright, before we go, guys, we just want to say thank you so much for watching. And before we go, obviously we have to go around and say how can the people follow you.
I really don't.
We are not going to plug on Logan's death.
Alright, so I'm just gonna say it anyway. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Shout outs to you guys. We really appreciate it. I know we haven't been doing a lot. I was away for most of holiday break. Jake has a review.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't think he uploaded it yet.
I just need some editing software.
The other thing I want to say shout out to the people who made this stuff. I'm talking about the godfathers of the genre. Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, all those guys. A couple years ago.
Before we end, what if there was a Stan Lee cameo in this movie? Can you imagine?
Yeah,
he's like,
died.
hey!
No, he would have been the guy. He would have been one of the guys at the casino during
you're right. He would have been in the casino.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Slot machines.
That would have been too comical for this movie.
I honestly think he would have been the guy where he goes to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he comes out and sees all these dead bodies.
You're right.
And
yeah.
What's happened?
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, just shout out to them. I mean, you have to think about it. Like a couple years ago, we never would have gotten stuff like this. But now, I mean, people always compare it to them. Like these are like the modern gods. These are like the modern mythology of our age, and it's so incredible to see so many different characters come to the
hour and 32
screen.
minutes, Adam.
Had longer reviews. And I just want to say, if you guys want to reach out to us, you could follow me on Twitter at Adam_bomb with 2 M's.
With 2 M's. Thank you. And good night.
Good night.